Test, test. All right, I believe my audio is working. And I believe that we are live. Guys, do me a favor as you guys come down into the chat room. Leave a 1 down up in here if you guys can hear and or see me correctly. We'll wholeheartedly appreciate it. Had a fantastic stream last night. If you missed last night, go watch the repeat. All right. Currently editing and chopping up the content last night. So if you want to see what was going on, you don't have to watch all hour and a half, almost 2 hours of it. You know what I mean? So it's going to be an edited version coming up to the channel, maybe today, maybe even tomorrow. Just make sure you guys stay locked and tuned into the channel. Make sure that notifications are on. All right. Shout out to everybody that's coming down into the building. Guys, do me a favor. If you can hit on the like button, would be abundantly appreciated for you to be able to do that. All right. We live at an odd time today, but I wanted to see this Candace Owens interview on the Whatever podcast. So I thought to myself, why watch it dolo? Why not watch it with the family? Why not watch it with the empty army? So here we are watching it. Let me bring it up on the screen right here. Shout out again to everybody that's coming down into the building. Guys, do me a favor. As you guys come into the building, hit on the like button, greet each other, state where you from. Let's get in it. I want to know where you guys is from. I want to know where I'm reaching. All right? Let me pull this content up. Candace Owens, whatever, podcast. Your boy been working all day, getting mad content done. And now I'm done recording for the day, at least the pre-records, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to come up here and just chat with y'all real quick. Because apparently Candace popped off in this particular interview. Okay? Shout out to Miss coming down into the building. I see you. Lolo from Michigan. Big Molly Ma from Cali. What up, LA? In the building. All right? I be more. I'm Pippin from Baltimore, of course. Be more down into the building. Reese Johnson, Philly. Philly, stand up. Cleveland. What up, Cleveland? I see you, Tori. What up, Trinidad and Tobago? Homer, I see you. I see you. Sin City, Vegas in the building. Atlanta for sure. Dear Woke Christian. Is that a content creator? He just might be. That's a good channel name if I'd never seen one. Shout out to the Army. Come through, come through, come through. 313. That's Detroit, right? Detroit in the building. Harlem, what's good? Germany, St. Louis, Amsterdam. Uh-oh, Teaneck. Long Island, New York. What up, LI? Strong Island, stand up. Uh-oh, Philip from Long Island as well. What's good? The family down into the building. Let's get after it. And let's go in. All right. Jamaica, Jamaica. I got to go back down up in there. I gotta go back to Jamaica. I've been to the Montego Bay side, the Ochos Rios side, and the Negril side. I feel like that's all the sides, unless like I have a Jamaican friend that I go with and we go into Kingston or something like that. But yeah, I love Jamaica. Much love and respect to that island right there. All right. Tucson, I see you. London town. All right. I don't know about London though. I don't think I'm gonna go back to London anytime soon. It's a traumatic experience the last time that I was there. Not really. All right. Y'all traffic and y'all weather is poop. Hold on. Let me fix the camera real quick. I think. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Last night I tussled with the camera, threw it off of alignment just a little bit. Okay. Is that better? Is that better? That's a little bit better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Can't let y'all go too far that way. Too far that way. All right. It's a little bit high, but we will figure it out. All right. Shout out to everybody that's coming down into the building. All right. Let's just get right into the content. All right. I'm not going to hold y'all up for too much, right? Let's just get after it. Let's go. Let's listen.
Candace Owens argument, because she was making the race comparison. Guys, if you want to see all the details, links in the description. We're also live on Twitch right now. Pull up another tab, go to twitch.tv/whatever, drop us a follow in the Prime sub if you have one. And yeah, so we had a false start there, so I'm a little befuddled there. Anyways, without further ado, we're going to have the guests introduce themselves one more time. So please tell us your name, age, and occupation. Go ahead.
My name's Azalea. I'm 31, and I'm a flight attendant and content creator.
What kind of content do you?
Twitch streaming, OnlyFans, and yeah.
All right. What about you?
My name is Lexi. I am 22 years old, and I'm a full-time sex worker.
Okay. And when you say sex worker, what do you mean?
I do content creating like on OnlyFans, as well as stripping at strip clubs, and I work as a legal courtesan.
We found the hoe.
A courtesan.
A legal
What
prostitute.
the fuck?
Okay. So,
Does anybody know where whatever podcast is based out of? Does anyone know? Is it Cali? It feels like Cali. Like all these chicks like remind me of California for some reason.
At strip clubs, and
What the fuck? Hold on. Sorry. Fucking phone just started to go off. It's in Cali? Okay, Cali, LA. Okay, that makes sense. Let's just keep going.
and I work as a legal courtesan in Nevada.
A courtesan.
Meaning a legal prostitute.
Okay, so have you ever been to a court?
No.
Like, not like for criminal reasons, but like have you ever
You know
been
what I
in
meant.
No, but like courtesan, you know. I mean, there's still kings out there that have a court. So you could, like the Philippines, do they have a king? Do you know?
I don't think no.
There's some kings out there. There's the king of Sweden, king of...
Yo, what is this guy on? This bitch just told you that she's a professional whore. Why are we talking about kings and queens? Candace is like, who the fuck brought this guy in here? I don't want to hate on you this early, my G, but what are you doing? She's a heavily implanted, super plastic up OnlyFans model that said some fucking long ass word called courtesan. She's a legal prostitute in Nevada. She doesn't deserve a history lesson, academic reproach. She's about fucking and sucking. That's all that she knows. Let's go.
So, like an actual, court.
Look at it. Look at it. Look
Okay,
at it.
all right. She's a courtesan, folks. Okay. What
the
about
A
you?
legal
fuck?
prostitute. That's the term for it.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Pixie. I'm 24 years old and I stream politics on Twitch.
All right. Welcome back.
I'm Essie. I'm 24. I have 2 jobs. My passion is social media management, and then I do OnlyFans as well.
Jesus.
Hey there, I'm Olivia Bentley, and I am an intimacy coach. I am a legal sex worker, and I am an OnlyFans content creator.
Did you say age?
46.
46. Okay, got it.
Hi, I'm Tara. I'm 22 years old, and I'm an EEG technician and research assistant in the field of clinical neuroscience.
Oh, shit. Nigga, what?
I'm Lily.
Wait a minute.
46.
46. Okay, got it.
Tara.
Hi, I'm Tara. I'm 22 years old, and I'm an EEG technician and research assistant in the field of clinical neuroscience.
Oh, okay. She's an EEG tech.
I'm Lily.
Got it. My
I'm
bad.
23 years old, and I'm a couple of things. I'm a student at Belmont. I'm graduating soon, and I'm a personal trainer, and my goal is to be a worship artist. Gotta make money, though.
Wait, what?
A couple things. I'm a
Worship
student
artist.
at Belmont. I'm graduating soon, and I'm a personal trainer, and my goal is to be a worship artist. Gotta make money, though.
Oh my God.
I am
What
Candace
the hell
Owens.
is a worship
I'm a
artist?
wife. I'm a mother first, and I also obviously have a political podcast, documentary filmmaker, and I just create a ton of content regarding what's going on in the media landscape.
Sweet. And you have tomorrow a documentary
Yes.
coming soon,
Yes,
convicting a murderer.
I'm very excited about that.
What time does it drop?
You can watch it live on X tomorrow night, so we're super excited about that. It also will be available on Daily Wire Plus. The first 2 episodes will be free. And yeah, it's jumping into kind of building on Netflix made Making a Murderer, made it seem as if Stephen Avery was guilty. I don't know if you guys watched that. It was everyone was obsessed with this idea that the justice system got it wrong. We kind of went in, re-examined the case, and created Convicting a Murderer, which is a 10-part series, first docu-series I think we've ever done at the Daily Wire. Extremely proud of it. It's apolitical first and foremost, and it's it's been a labor of love. So I'm super excited to bring it to everybody and to change people's minds about what they thought they originally knew about the case. So, yeah.
And you went boots on the ground in, what is it, Manitowoc County?
I went to Stephen Avery's
The junkyard.
the junkyard. Yep. And yeah, just I like to get my hands dirty in terms of really understanding what's going on and talking to people in the town and seeing how they are impacted. Because for us, we scroll through our cell phones aimlessly and we comment on these cases, but real lives are impacted when something goes viral, and especially when something goes viral and produces the wrong answer, lives can be destroyed. And in this particular circumstance, you have a man and his nephew that are in prison, and they get love letters, and they've got fiancés and adoring fans and people writing songs about them. And that's
all right. I really don't care. Just real quick, I was Googling worship artistry in order to try to understand. Worship artistry takes the guesswork out of your worship practice and song arrangement so everyone can play with confidence. Okay, that doesn't really, it really doesn't tell me much. Worship artistry, okay. 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 So it's like choir work. There's apparently, okay, worship artistry. Okay, so it's playing worship music online. Okay. Hey, listen, I'm not mad at that. It's like biblical shit. All right. So essentially, just to sum it up, so I was writing it down. We had a flight attendant, the girl all the way to the right. We have a legal prostitute. Courtesan is what she kept saying. Then we have a Pixie, 24 years old, streams political stuff. Then the girl right next to her streams OnlyFans stuff. Girl right next to her is an intimacy coach, OnlyFans streamer at 46 years old. And then 22 Tower, she's an EEG tech. She kind of fucked me up because she said some neuroscience shit after that. And I heard neuroscience, I didn't hear EEG tech. So that's yeah, whatever. And then worship artistry, and then Candace, and then Brian is all the way to the left. So
all because Netflix was able to produce a documentary.
Let's get be honest.
My understanding is your documentary is saying
it's a full court effort. It's supported by the usual pundits and suspects. Alec Baldwin got behind very long, thick path.
Let's go to relationship status. Come on.
Very long, thick packet of crimes that they decided not to mention or to entirely diminish and make it seem like, oh, that was nothing. Yeah, so what? He threw a cat in a fire and doused it in gasoline, the family pet. Not normal behavior, not something that we do when we have a couple of drinks. And I think that was kind of the most egregious thing, really unpacking everything that they chose to leave out about who he was.
Yeah.
Can I make a pitch to you and to the Daily Wire for the next documentary? Yeah. Can you guys look into the Tiger King? Could you guys maybe put Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles on it?
Oh my God, Matt Walsh and the Tiger King needs to happen. I'm fully behind you on this pitch.
Yes.
I will bring this to the right people who can make the right decisions.
Please. Can I get like a little special thanks in the...
The fact that Matt's a cat and he always kind of gives you the impression that he doesn't want to be so funny, even when he's not trying to be funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Cool.
Right.
Well, we'll go around the table once more.
Relationship status.
What is everybody's current relationship status? So, are you single? Are you in a talking stage, situationship, friends with benefits, relationship, married, polycule? Are you whatever maybe? So, if you're single, how long have you been single? And what's your longest relationship? Starting with you. Go ahead.
I'm in a relationship. I have been for about 1.5 years, and my longest relationship is 2 years.
Okay.
I am single, and my longest relationship was probably about 4 years.
How long have you been single?
I've been single for about, I want to say 1 year now.
Okay.
I'm single. My longest relationship was like around 3 to 4 years, and I've been single since like February, around there.
Okay.
Single. I've been single for 6 years almost now, so.
Since you were pretty much 18, you've been single?
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Did you have like a high school boyfriend or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, I think I dated 2 guys in high school, but it was very
At the
brief.
same time?
No,
separately.
Not.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. What about you?
So I just got out of a relationship of 6 months with a federal agent, and I am single, ready to mingle.
Federal agent?
Yeah.
CIA? FBI?
Oh.
Coast Guard? Oh wait, that's not it. Never mind.
Federal agent down in Texas. So
Okay.
yeah.
Got it. And what's your longest relationship you've ever had?
I would say 7 years.
7 years. Were you married or?
I was.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right.
I'm currently single. My longest relationship was a little over a year, and I've been single for about 1 year.
I just started talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, but I guess I'm single. And my longest relationship was about 3 years.
Wait, sorry, you just started talking to somebody, but you're...
I've been single since February 2022, and so it's really fresh.
Okay,
So I would
got
still
it.
consider myself single.
It's early on, okay. Candace, what
I'm
about-
married. I'm married. Third child on the way. Third child will be here in 10 weeks.
Oh, you're pregnant right now?
Yes. Are you kidding me? Very
Oh.
pregnant right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
But it's good
far-
of you not to assume, right?
Yeah, I don't
might
want
get in
to.
trouble.
I don't
and
want.
then-
Yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
to
She
get
don't look
into
pregnant.
trouble.
Yeah.
You're how far along?
30 weeks.
30. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Any
Rounding the
thoughts on
corner
the?
here.
Is it a boy?
Thoughts
girl?
on whether it's a boy? No,
Well-
I have a biological
Well,
understanding that it's a boy.
Okay. No, I didn't mean it that
Let's
way.
keep
I
the
didn't mean
thoughts
that
out of
way.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitively a boy. And I have one boy already at home who's 2, and I have a little girl that's 1. So we're on the back to. I've basically
Awesome.
been pregnant for 3 years, so this is kind of my permanent state at the
Sure.
moment.
Wow, and working
Oh,
the
it's-
entire
I mean,
time.
it's,
Thank
yeah,
you,
congrats,
guys.
and
Thank you.
it's certainly impressive that you still you're working like crazy, and
Yeah. Well, otherwise you'll just drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
But-
sweet.
Yo, I was having a conversation with a young woman the other day that was talking about all the weight that she gained when she got pregnant. And I said to myself, well, did you need to gain all that weight? You can hear a rat farting 20 yards away. I'm so happy that nowadays there's this content on the internet that demonstrates to women that no, you don't have to let yourself completely go during this time. Or like, oh, you can actually work out as you're going through this shit, this hormonal shifting that you're going through, your body is changing, right? I'm happy that it's there because now it gives them something to jump up and grab to. I don't think women should be getting ridiculously fat during pregnancy and unable to work it off after that. That's why I always like when I look at these women right here, baby girl, if working out is not a part of your daily regimen, I just, sorry. For long term, I just can't fuck with it. If it's not like a component of your life, right? Like if you're not mad that you can't make it to the gym, sorry. For the long term, sorry. All right, I'll still drop dick in you, but for the long term, I can't really consider you, okay? Because you're gonna blow up and not look like how when I purchased you, figuratively speaking.
And how long have you been married for?
4 years.
4 years. Gotcha. Okay. And you said earlier on that you used to be kind of left leaning or super
Definitely
left leaning.
left leaning.
Okay.
Yeah. Which
Like
I think
nose
is pretty.
ring, pink hair.
No, there's no old photos that are
okay.
gonna.
Purchased, figuratively
more-
speaking. All right, guys, we all pay for it. All right? Not a single one of us makes it out of this dating game without paying for it. Y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Stop the madness. Leg out.
Progressive on, other things are a bit more
Yeah.
conservative on.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
So when I started out in my early 20s, I can relate to Candace. I was a little bit more on the left.
1.25.
And then as time has gone on and I've worked real jobs and I've been out in the real world, I'm more to the right. I am independent and I don't like our two-party system. I think it's failed. But I would say I lean more to the right.
Okay.
I was raised very liberal, but I found myself becoming more conservative, especially over the past 3 years. But I wouldn't fully call myself a conservative yet. I would just say I'm still centrist.
Good place to be.
She seems
Same. I
smart.
used to be pretty liberal, but I am very, very conservative.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, you already answered. Okay.
She's in worship
Okay, cool.
artistry. That makes
All right.
sense.
So I have a first question here. So I'm trying to hold on. I'm seeing where I want to start here. Actually, wait. We had one chat come in. I'll just read it while we have it. Goodest boy, thank you for being on the show, Candace. But the world is effed. Can already tell from the panel that your views will not change their outlook. Never say never. Brian, you could be an amazing psyoper. Just saying. I've had a couple accusations that this show is a psyop
Oh my God.
by the CIA. Believe it or not, I've had a couple.
If you have any show, that is an accusation that you get.
Have you had-
Oh
has
my
any-
God, yeah. It's just it's.
Candace Owens show is a psyop. By who though? Who is psyoping? Okay, I don't know. But goodest boy, thank you very much for that. And then
All
we
right.
had a
Come on.
We had a couple. We had this one.
7 Deadly Simps donated $200.
Nick, can you boost the audio a little?
Dear Candace, what are your thoughts on Proverbs 21:19? Better to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome and nagging wife. Also, 777 decillion 777 no million 777 octillion 777.
He's just kind of joke. He's kind of memeing because
777
the TTS voice will read anything.
Quadrillion
But so thank you, Seven Deadly. It's almost. I think it's almost done.
777,777.
Welcome to the whatever podcast. So your thoughts on Proverbs 21:19?
I like that we just jumped right into the Bible. That's awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
I would say that, yeah, you should aspire to marry the right person. Definitely.
Okay.
Without question.
Big
You should
true.
aspire to marry the right person.
If you wanna get married.
And part of that is making sure that when you're dating, you're dating somebody of value, and that also when you're considering looking for someone of value, you also take a second to measure yourself and see if you are a person of value that's worthy of marrying. Because I
Big
think
true,
people forget that part.
Candace.
That's almost the most important part.
Got it. So recently, a video
Good answer.
went pretty viral on the internet, and Candace, you actually tweeted about it. Something about shashuka. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So Nick, if you can pull a video, we're going to just have the panel react to it. And then before you go full screen on that, so Matt Walsh posted it, and I saw this everywhere. I saw it yesterday. Her life doesn't revolve around her family and kids, so instead it revolves around TV shows and pop stars. Worst of all, she's too stupid to realize how depressing this is. And then Candace, quote, X'd it, quote tweeted, I don't know anymore. Okay, quote X'd it. This is what was future. Wait, this is what was. Okay, this is what a future depression, Xanax, and wine combo nights alone looks like. But hey, the shashuka.
It's gonna be amazing.
So let's play the video, Nick. If you can go full screen on it, and then we'll get the panel's reaction.
Xanax wine nights.
It's 10:45 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm 29 and single, and I don't have kids yet. Here's what your Saturday morning looks like when you're single at 29 and you don't have a kid running around the house. I didn't rise from my bed until 10:15. Every time I thought, I should probably get up and do something. I thought, why? Nobody's making me. I'm not missing out on anything. I went to Beyonce last night, and I didn't get home until 1 a.m. And I danced and drank my little heart out, and I didn't pay a babysitter to watch my kids as I did that. And I woke up a tad hungover this morning, which is probably why I was in bed for so long. And I was just scrolling on my phone, and I saw a picture of shakshuka, and I thought, it sounds really good. Maybe I'm gonna learn how to make shakshuka today because I have no plans and I don't have kids and I don't have a husband and I don't have errands to run. I can go to the grocery store and learn how to make shakshuka. So that's on my agenda today. Also on my agenda, probably a rewatch of some Real Housewives of New York. I'm also doing a rewatch of Normal People on Hulu, which is really spicy and I highly recommend. Weirdly, I'm into this documentary on Netflix about blue zone countries, so I've got a pretty stacked day. Anyway, I say all this to say, whenever I'm hard on myself about why I'm not married and I don't have kids and I should be further along at 29, almost 30, I wouldn't want to do anything else this Saturday. And I know that you can do all these things when you have kids and you're married, and I understand, but the effortlessness and ease of my life, just kind of focusing on myself and the shakshuka I want to make or the Beyonce concert I want to go to really pays off when I'm hard on myself for not being where society tells me I should be in life.
I thought it was going to be really her going, shot, shot, shot.
So, why do you guys think that this video went kind of crazy viral, and what's the analysis here?
I mean, it went crazy viral because Matt Walsh tweeted it. Let's be real. That would have just gone into the ethosphere on TikTok and no one would have talked about it had he not picked that up and tweeted it.
Well, was Matt, I don't know if Matt Walsh was the first
He
person.
was.
Oh, was
Yeah.
he really? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But I guess what's interesting to me is that this woman has actually even said, she gives herself a hard time. She wants to be married. She wants to have children. So I don't think that it's right to demonize her and act like she's going to have a depressing life when she just hasn't found the right person, because clearly she wants those things and she's trying to make herself feel better and other people in that community feel better about not being that far along. Because like you said, you wanted people to settle down with the right person, take their time, figure out if that's the right person. So just because she's 29, you're saying that it's too late for her and she's going to be doing Xanax and drinking wine at night because she hasn't reached that point
I
yet.
didn't say that. That's not what my tweet said.
You said the future.
Yeah,
right.
Because she's obviously a narcissist, right? So
Why
the
would you
issue,
think
first
that?
and foremost, let's not pretend this is one video that she made. It's her brand on TikTok. It's her brand on social media. She talks about these are this community known as dinks. We're happy and we're childless. She talks about how great it is to be childless. So she has developed she's a social media influencer that talks about childlessness. So let's not pretend this is one woman making a video who just said, oh, I had a great Saturday. There's absolutely no reason, if you had a great Saturday at 29 years old and you learned to make shashuka and you slept in at 11 until 11:15 or 10:15, whatever she said, that you need to bring up children. There's absolutely no reason. You just say, here's what I did today. I laid in all day. Right. I did this. I did that. The fact that she has to correlate it to saying, and this somehow makes me better than people that have children is the problem. She literally goes on to talk about not having children. It wasn't necessary in this video. So it's not like people are just shaming single women on the internet. You could go on right now and talk about what you've done all day, and there's no reason to bring up, having a child or not. She's actually doing the shaming, and now we're trying to pretend that she's the victim. She's not. She has a brand where she talks about childlessness, and she talks about leaning into selfishness and all the things that are amazing about not having children. Again, this is not the first video that she's produced. So the reason why, and if you're a man watching this, don't marry this woman. She's basically telling you she's selfish. She's telling you she's a narcissist. Everything she says is about me, 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 me. Even if you're single, you don't have to make your whole day revolve around you. You don't have to. You can get up in the morning, you can go help others, you can do other things. You can say, now that I have free time as a single woman, I can go dedicate time to the church. I can sing. I can do this. I can help people find God. That particular woman that you just looked at is a selfish bitch, and men should not marry her. That's my personal opinion.
You wanted to come
God! Oh, Candace is cooking! Candace is cooking! God damn! The shit, you know what's so crazy is that with the context and understanding that she is a whole brand dedicated towards that, low key, you know the first thing my mind jumped to? What a smart person. That young lady is brilliant because she's taking advantage of all of the soon-to-be cat shepherds coming into the future. Absolutely, full stop. The audience of single 29, single from 25 to 35, unmarried, is huge. That audience right there of women in that demographic that are single actually might be bigger than those in my demographic, right? So the potential market of who she does content for is absolutely massive. I'd probably guess it's probably 2 or 3 times the size of the market of the content that I do it for. So understanding that content is very important.
Come in really quick.
Yes, I wanted to answer your question real quick as to, you said why it went viral. I think it went viral because it's like, nowadays, it's like, it's relatable in our day and age. You know what I mean? Like 22, 23 years old. I don't know how old this girl is, but like 29 or whatever. But in my day and age, like, it's relatable to be like, haha, we don't got kids. Like, quote unquote, fuck them kids. You know what I mean? It's like,
I'm glad you're admitting that.
It's like that.
I'm glad
like,
you're admitting that.
It's like a term that people use, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just relatable. Like, that's why it gets so many views, is what, to answer your question.
I think that's really honest of you to say that.
You wanted to come in?
Fuck them kids.
Yeah. No, I said quote unquote. That's what they say.
Yeah, but you're admitting that so that she's starting the fight. You're looking at people that are moms.
That are trending.
When I'm with my kids, right, I don't post videos and say F them single chicks with no kids. Right. She did the baiting, okay, and we responded. That's it.
I don't know.
Like, it's a new trend.
It's so interesting too. It's relatable, but ma'am, you are an OnlyFans model. There's no relationship coming to you in the future serious relationship of a guy that you'd find valuable to you. You understand? So yeah, you could continue to say it's relatable, but at the same time, no, what is she, right? Like, what the young lady is doing from a brand perspective is similar to what we see these rappers and these artists doing, right? These female-oriented ones that go and promote being independent. I got a video about Ciara dropping probably today, the promotion of this single independent lifestyle while still being married. What? For the bag, shout out to Instinctual Messages with a $10 super chat, my G. As always, thank you. Just watched this yesterday, and Candace Owens had me cheering like my team was winning the Super Bowl. Shout out, my G. Appreciate you. Let go.
Hold on, let's just let Essie go ahead.
The first thing I noticed about the video was that she was putting people with kids down. It'd be fine if she was talking about how her day was and wording it differently, but it seemed like almost immediately from the beginning of the video that she was belittling people with kids, which I think is like the part of the problem.
Pixie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think this is like up to interpretation, because personally when I saw that video, my interpretation was like, oh, she's putting herself down because she's saying like, oh, you know, when I tell myself, why am I not further along in life? You know, it's okay because at least I'm enjoying these things. So I could definitely see, like, depending on how you're looking at it, or if you have further context, why you would think she's putting kids down. But when I saw that video by itself, I was thinking, like, people are kind of going a little bit overboard in the sense that she says she's being harsh on herself. She doesn't have children, and these are just the things that have made her happy today. And I don't think that by itself, without additional context, is inherently wrong.
Anybody else? Tara, did I say it right this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know the background of what other types of content and messaging she puts out, but just from that video alone, I don't think to me, I never got the impression she was shaming people that women that were married to kids. It felt like she felt bad that she wasn't already there, and she was just trying to be optimistic about it. And so I think it sounded more like her content was about making women who are childless and not married yet and are approaching the end of their reproductive years to like look on the bright side. But all my friends know I'm like so eager and ready for like marriage and kids, but I really honestly just didn't get that impression from that video.
Wow, and Tara is 22.
Alone that she was in any way.
So when she was talking about, I got to go to a Beyonce concert and I didn't have to pay for a babysitter. You don't think that was
belittling?
That was selfish of her to say that.
Yeah, she's being selfish, and she was being
that.
rude. And if it was flipped and a conservative woman with children said the opposite of that to single women,
it would blow up.
It would blow up, and they would say, "How rude of you! Why are you even mentioning single women? Just say you had a good day with your kids."
Right.
That's fine. If I say I woke up, went to the park with my kids, did that, okay. chill. Why are you correlating it to children? It doesn't make any sense. So, and like I said, she's produced more content, so that the context is important. She's leaned into this as a brand and as an influencer. So
she makes money
then
off
you're
of
going to
it.
expect people that influence people to have families to respond. Matt Walsh being among them, me being among them, and I would like to again warn men against marrying a woman who holds those sorts of perspectives because she's
Absolutely.
ultimately just selfish. Like I said, you can have a day and you can be single. You don't have to dedicate your whole day to me, narcissist, me. Here's what I did for me. It's just not a woman that you want to marry. Full stop.
I agree.
Leaving the kids totally separate from it. I wouldn't marry a woman like that.
Go ahead.
And all I'm saying is like it's sad, but it's crazy that like it's a trend. You know what I mean? Like that's why they're getting so many views on TikTok or Instagram or whatever they're
There's
posting.
a growing number of single women.
It's like it's a trend, and it's crazy.
Just a show of hands. Who here wants to have kids one day?
More, yeah. It's my third, but
Besides Candace, does anyone here have kids?
I do.
You got kids? How many?
I have a son. He's 21.
Okay, gotcha.
He's
Gotcha.
perfect, and I'm good.
Okay.
But
got
one
it.
thing I noticed,
Mind you, that's the intimacy coach with an OnlyFans. She has a 21-year-old son.
a trend, like I agree that it's a trend, and she's doing that to brand herself and go viral and get a lot of attention and maybe monetize that. When I talk with other girls and they're younger, and I'll say, "Are you married? Are you planning on having children?" Sometimes that's a hot button for them, and it's maybe perhaps these kind of trends are like it's a rebellious thing because sometimes it's expected for people to get married out of the gate and have children and that kind of traditional lifestyle. If it's an expectation that parents have that they put on their children, and younger generations aren't having it, especially these days when it's so hard it's so expensive, people are having to work a lot, that's just one thing I've noticed. A little pushback on that question, even when I ask it. And I love children.
Gotcha. And
just real quick, I wanted to comment on this, is that there's people as in the whatever chat as well as in my chat right now that are saying things such as Candace is probably super boring in bed. And I think I actually saw this in the whatever in their comment section. Not the live chat, but the actual comment section. And let me just comment on this from my perspective. There is nothing that a woman can say in public ever that will determine what they're like in private, ever, from my field studies. I've talked to some of the most liberal of women that, kind of maintain that liberalness from a private setting and scenario, but I've also talked to extremely passive, conservative, pensive women that when you get them in private, oh, my G, my G. There's a big difference between public and private with all women. With all of them. Some of them, when they want more liberal, left-leaning, a lot of it's more out there. But let's not get it twisted. Like, conservatively minded women don't be on no fuck shit as well, privately, from a good perspective. You understand what I'm saying? That's just my point. Shout out to George Smith, $5 super chat. Sub MTR. This is your first live I've caught. Shout out my G. Love the content, my G. Keep it going. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. Much love, sir. Shout out to George. Lego.
And I don't recall if you had a response to Candace or...
I mean, I was just going to say the opposite content does exist, and I would say that it's more prevalent, and usually there's more of it than there is the opposite. And whatever community she wants to represent, I think that somebody that is single, and obviously, like I said, she closed out the video saying, I know that women that are married and have children can do all of these things as well, but this is what makes me feel better because I'm not that far along. And I think if she's giving comfort and solace to women that want to be in that position and aren't quite there yet, whether you took it that way or not, I think that that's okay.
I don't think anything that she did in there was meant to be charitable. It was all about her. So, I mean, just a different interpretation, but I'm just happy that you were honest and admitted that it is becoming trendy to put down women. Yeah, and but by the way, speaking to what you were saying about it being an act of rebellion, I used to be a feminist. If you had found me, you're 22, right? Found me at 22, I would have probably had the same perspectives as you about family. It is something different, and you will realize that when it's someone that's 29 years old and saying that, it's not the same intention. It's not I'm young, I'm free, I'm wild, and I think I'm going to live forever. What she's doing is something different. And also, just recently today, actually, Emma
Good point,
came out with a
Candace.
quote about, I think getting divorced before you're 30 is chic. That's something else. And that a woman at 22, a woman at 29 saying something that is appropriate when you're at 21 or 22, it's a little different. And she knew what she was doing. It was intentional. And like I said, if you look into her content, this is not some innocent woman that was posting just to boost herself up on the internet. She's trying to get clicks. She's trying to get views. And she got them, for better or for worse.
Candace is making such a fantastic point here. Even within myself, as I've gotten older, I begin to become a lot more conservative within my thinking, as opposed to being younger, much more liberal in my thinking. And I think that's a natural progression of a person, is that, the things that you think are fun for yourself when you're in your 20s is going to be different when you start to consider things such as your future and kids as you get older. Okay, it's a fantastic point.
I want to come back a little bit now to people's relationship status. So, or not even so much relationship status, but perhaps it's related. So, both of you do courtship?
Sex work?
Courtship?
Courtesan. That's an old-fashioned historical term.
Okay.
Back in the day, courtesans were able to own property, whereas the Little Miss didn't have that ability the way the laws were written back in the day of ancient years. Like, the wife was toddlerized. And then the courtesans were able to go and attend the meetings with the politicians and the business owners and actually state their case and be influential.
But, okay, so I'm just trying to differentiate here, because courtesan, that's, when I think of it, I think of people who are in the court, typically. There's a kingdom. Yeah. There's a kingdom. There's a monarch, and there's maybe some of them are dukes, maybe.
It's from that era, but
viceroys. Yeah. There's some viceroys in there. There's a couple of well, I don't know some other terms. Lords, ladies. But okay, so you guys work in Nevada, is that correct? In what's the place that you guys work at?
There's different brothels. The Bunny Ranch. I've been at the Bunny Ranch. We've both been there. We both worked at the world famous Mustang.
Okay.
Those are more normal.
Oh, so you guys both don't work there, or you don't work there anymore. Do you still work at the, what is it called, the Bunny Ranch, or?
So, hold on. We're independent contractors. So
take your time.
So, like, when we're on tour, we contract ourselves out, with whomever.
Okay.
So that might change.
Sure. So a couple questions here. So I don't know, maybe it's changed throughout the course of your life, but how many, maybe you see men, maybe you see women, how many per day or per week, do you call them clients? What do you call them? Tricks?
Clients, friends. No, not tricks.
Marks?
No.
No? Okay. I don't know the terminology. I'm not in the world.
some providers may, but they're not maybe the most respectful.
Okay.
I like to deem them friends as soon as I get to know them.
Oh,
and,
God.
And we are like friends. Sometimes we're like married couples, but
No, you're a whore. Oh my God, the softening of the language. I know Candace is probably stewing in her goddamn seat right now. Courtesan, in modern usage, is a euphemism for a kept mistress or prostitute, particularly one with wealthy, powerful, or influential clients. Okay, so it's a high-end paid slower. You're just putting a goddamn new name on it that more people don't recognize to avoid the strumpetness of your insides. The term historically referred to as a courtier, a person who attended the court of a monarch or other powerful person, okay? Okay, shout out to Tiff Dawn, independent contractors. Shout out to Chris McClain with a $20 super chat. MT Army, he talking to all of y'all. What's up? Had to like the video. How are you, my guy? I'm good. All right, doing okay. Philly to Chester, PA in the building. All right. There's a special place in my heart for Philadelphia. I used to live down in the area for about 4 years or so. So I appreciate that, my G. Shout out to Lifestyle Enthusiasts with the $50 super chat. Again, supporting the stream. Now the stream sponsor. Peace and blessings, bro. Appreciate the love, my G. Yeah, yo. At the end of the day, I don't want to scroll anymore because Wikipedia sometimes be having them crazy ass images, right? I'm just vaginaed out, cheeked out. All right, I don't want to keep scrolling. Yeah, it's going to get weird. Career length. Yo, this is legit a career? Professional courtesans. Oh my God. Royal mistresses, unless, okay. Yeah, so essentially, so you'd have a wife, right? And then you would just, life would be like, okay, well, sometimes when my vagina is inoperable, you can go and fuck the courtesan is essentially what I'm hearing right now. All right, let's just keep going.
it can be, it depends, anywhere from like 2 to 3 a day. That's a lot, but maybe 5 a week.
Okay.
You fucking 2 or 3 men a day? You have a son that's 21? What the fuck? Candace is like, this bitch. Like, why did I come here? It smells like fish and hot oil in this room. I don't know. I want to go. I want to leave. I see and smell nothing but Satan in here. Let go.
What about you?
So anywhere between 2 to 3. Oh, sorry.
It's fine.
Anywhere between 2 to 3.
Okay.
And sometimes
Jesus.
4 or 5, depending
Oh.
on.
Sure. Per day.
Yes.
Do you know what the most is in one day? Like, was there one day?
It always fluctuates.
Okay. Is there ever like a 10, a dozen?
I don't.
Yes.
I mean, yeah,
Baker's dozen?
it can. It
Okay.
can happen.
Sure.
I don't personally do that.
When coming off the heels of Dennis Hoff's Cat House, there were, I mean, 10.
Oh, Nick, hide.
What? I don't know what just happened.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we're fine. Okay, all right, good. All right, welcome to the Whatever Podcast. Always something. Where were we?
I was mentioning after Dennis Hoff did his famous show, Cat House on HBO, he drummed up a ton of mainstream media. He got one of the girls on Oprah and whatnot. There were so many people coming in. Those were the days where maybe you'd be seeing like 10 clients, 12 clients in a day.
Okay,
And that was a lot.
Gotcha. And for you two, has being involved in prostitution, has it had any impact when it comes to your romantic prospects?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to be able to be myself and fully disclose, and I need that person to accept me for who I am. Bottom line.
I have had no issues being a legal prostitute. I've had no issues being a legal prostitute just because I haven't been dating anybody within this time for that year.
Mm-hmm.
As for everything else, it's hard dating. I've ran into a lot of insecure men. Typically, those are the ones that can't handle me doing what I do for work. And
Oh God, here we go.
Well, just a point of clarification. So you run into a lot
Candace
of
is heating
insecure
up.
men, and are they insecure because they don't want to date you because you are currently active as a prostitute?
Yes, she's about to say yes.
No, I'm saying I've never dated a guy while I was working at the brothels, at the Bunny Ranch or the Mustang Ranch. But I've been dating guys like between me doing camming and
Sure.
dancing. So that's what I'm talking about.
But you mentioned
Why are they insecure?
Men. What specifically are they doing that makes them insecure? Is it because they're insecure about your work?
Yes, like
Imagine being insecure for rejecting a woman that gets fucked by 12 men a day. Like, what the cope? What the cope is this shit? Oh, I'm insecure. That's your conclusion, baby girl. What? I'll be honest. Is this, I know these girls go on the show in order to promote their businesses, but how does this do for their business? Because I would assume if you're one of the 12 and you're walking into her establishment at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're probably the 12th. You most likely don't know that there was 11 guys before, literally 11 guys. Yo, what the fuck? There's bars in major cities that don't get serviced as much as what you do in a 24-hour day. There'll be less guys pissing in a urinal than injecting their sword into your viscous innards in a 24-hour period. That is absolutely insane. But he's insecure. Oh, wait a minute. I'm the 12th one today. There's been 10 giant men just back to back, sweating all over, and I'm the 12th. Oh, you must be insecure because you don't want to pay the fee to go in beside me, even though this is the 12th one today. Purely disgusting, purely sick. And here's the shit though. Look at her face. Look at her face. Okay? You can't tell that there's Lilith and Delilah deeply embedded inside of her. You literally can't tell. She's an attractive woman, okay? She's an attractive woman. This is why I keep telling you guys, please, 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 do not get convinced by their face. I know a lot of us can fall victim to what it is that they look like, so you start believing their shit. Don't. You have to separate it, okay? All right? Because just before she had it, she probably was skeeted on and in an hour before this goddamn stream.
I've had exes in the past that would cry about me going to work to dance at the strip club.
Okay.
I've had guys try to control like what I wear and say that I can't work at strip clubs or do OnlyFans or whatever.
Sorry, was there more?
No, and that's...
Okay. Is it because they're insecure, or is that just them having boundaries and standards?
I feel like that's... I mean, you knew what I was doing before you met me, right? So all of them knew exactly what I was doing before they met me, which brings it to, yeah, if you have a problem with what I do before you meet me, maybe don't get involved with me.
Sure.
I'm very open. I'm a very honest person. You knew what I was doing before you met me. If you don't like it, there's the door. Nobody's making you stay.
I think too, gentlemen love the idea of dating us, and then once we go to do it, then it's not really realistic.
Right. It's almost like,
yeah, no, it's not gentlemen, it's feminine men. Please make the distinction for future reference. It's not masculine men. That's not how a masculine man. We don't try to turn hoes into housewives. That's not what we do. These are suckers. These are simps. These are weak men. Weak.
it's like fetish.
A fetish.
Like, you're right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's so hot. I have a girlfriend that does this, that, and the other. And then when they're really at home and I'm like on OnlyFans or on a call with a client or whatever, they're like, no, this is weird. This is weird. You know what I mean? And that, I think it's an insecurity, yes, because you knew where I was coming from. You knew what I was doing and you weren't okay with it. Then you should have made that a point.
Well, I mean, I suppose you have a point that, I mean, if they knew going in that this is what you do for work, you're a stripper or you're doing OnlyFans or you're doing sex work, then I think it's a little bit of a stretch that all of a sudden, a couple weeks or months into a relationship, then they start changing up. But I think to differentiate the conversation a little bit, for example, like let's say, and I don't know if you mentioned this when it comes to like posting perhaps revealing photos online, not intended for commercial, like they're just on Instagram, but they're not monetizing it, they're not content creators, or like, for example, if they go to the bar, club, party a lot, would you consider it insecure if a guy,
she didn't talk
3 months
at all.
into a relationship, at that point he started having issues with you or with another girl? Hey, he started saying, hey, I don't want you to go in the clubs and bars anymore.
And he already knew? You're saying he already knew this?
Well, like, I assume he knew, yeah.
So if he already knew, then...
Well, I guess my framing is, prior to dating, he had no problem with you or with another girl engaging in what he considered to be single behavior at the time. But once you or whoever it is started dating, he wanted his partner to act in a way that he thought was more consistent with being in a relationship. So perhaps it's okay to go out to, me personally, even if I'm single, I'm not really interested in going to bars, clubs, and I don't post revealing photos online, but I don't know, I feel like that men don't do that too much. I mean, there's certainly men that post like whatever, anyways. But once you get into the relationship, there's expectations that certain things change.
Well, with the sex worker?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just differentiating when it comes to like posting revealing photos. If it's not for your work,
then yeah, like I can
clubs.
separate my work identity from my personal life.
Go ahead, you want to come in?
I think, I mean, if we're talking somebody that's not a sex worker and is posting revealing photos, I think that that's something that you talk about before getting into a relationship with somebody, because then if you're talking, you know, and a guy is like, you know, my expectations for my girlfriend are XYZ. I don't like these kind of revealing photos for my girlfriend. I don't like you going out all the time. And then I think from then on, that's when you decide whether to make a relationship serious or not, because if she doesn't want to restrict where she's going or what she's doing or the type of photos she's posting for him, then that's her decision. But I don't think that it's wrong for a partner to ask her, you know, hey, if we're in a relationship, this is what I expect. And then, you know, she makes the decision, yes, I will do those things, or no.
But do you think that so early on, like say on the first date or second date, that there's enough of a relationship established for a guy to have enough, I don't know if leverage is the right word, but like enough pull or influence to be like, hey, listen, I don't want you doing this anymore?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
But that's, and she just said that you should early on, you should
early
say,
on, not date number one. Date
not date number one, not date number two. That is
maybe date
wild.
number 3,
I mean,
4.
wait.
I think there's two things
ahead, Pixie.
going on here. I think you can date someone, and then as a relationship evolves and changes, some things that you thought you were comfortable with, you're like, hey, I'm not really comfortable with this anymore. I think that's reasonable. But I think that's very distinct than going into a relationship thinking, oh, I don't like the fact that she posts this types of photos. I'm going to make her stop. You know, I'm going to change her, basically. Because you're setting up, I think, everyone for disappointment. You're setting up yourself, her. There's a difference between going into something, having feelings change, talking from there, and intentionally trying to change before you even date, really.
I have a question. Yeah. If you ever fell in love with somebody, would you be willing to delete all of your stuff if they asked you?
Would I be?
Yes. Oh, okay. If you, as a sex worker and everything that you do, if you fell in love and you found someone and they asked you to stop.
So with that being said, I am currently single because of what I do for work. I am very much so busy doing my work, and I'm full throttle, like wanting to make money and capitalize off of this industry to the best of my ability and make it to the point where I can retire. And then it's like, also making this much money and doing what I do for work, it puts me in a position to be able to meet the type of guys that I want to meet, right? The higher end type of guys. And maybe later on down the line, not anytime yet, I would be open to it if I find everything happens for a reason. You know, never say never, but like if I found Prince Charming or something one day and he didn't want me doing this anymore, or I wouldn't be doing this anyways. I want to retire from it at one point. And then, yeah, eventually maybe.
And when you say high-end men, what do you mean by that?
Like
millionaires.
Like high-value men?
Yes, high value.
Or men with a lot of money?
High value.
Okay.
I have a question for you two here. So both of you.
You know what's so crazy about this? And, a lot of these thoughts, they end up winning in the end. Because if she's got guys now that are currently trying to date her, even though they know that she's a bunny at the Playboy Ranch, she's got OnlyFans, she's a high-end professional prostitute, and they're still trying to date her now, when she tries to leave her life behind, I guarantee you there'll be some dude with a lot of money that is willing to sacrifice for her. And that's just it. And a lot of these girls, they can play this game. As long as she, I forgot how old that she is. I didn't write down her age. But if she gets out of it by 28, 29, maybe even 30, she could still find somebody. And that just is what it is. And some dude will absolutely pick up the pieces and be okay with dealing with the 5,000 body count tortured young woman that we're looking at right here. It's absolutely insane. A lot of the times at the end of the day, a lot of these hoes win, but only if they're super attractive.
Both of you do OnlyFans. Having done OnlyFans, continuing to do OnlyFans, has it had any negative impacts on your dating prospects? Does it make it harder to date? Has it been maybe non-issue at all? Some guys like it.
I've never had an issue with it, dating-wise. No one has ever, because I'm very upfront too. First date, if this is what I do, if you don't like it, this is how I make my money. Unless you're going to pay me the same amount of money I'm making, then I'm not going to stop supporting myself. But yeah, I never really ran into issues. But again, I don't do full pornographic content or anything like that. So it probably is a little bit different for somebody on OnlyFans that does do that type of content. But I personally have never ran into an issue. My boyfriend at first was, I told him and he was like, okay, well, if I'm going to date you, I have to be okay with this. And that was that. And it's never been an issue.
Sorry, I was asking a question. What kind of content do you do on OnlyFans?
Mainly topless content.
Okay,
So,
and you currently have a boyfriend?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Just that's the extent of it?
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Essie?
I've also never had an issue in my dating life. I don't date that often though, but
right, because you've been single for 6 years.
Yeah.
But it might not necessarily be related to that you're not doing OnlyFans.
Yeah, I also don't do nudes on OnlyFans, so it's just like lingerie content.
Oh, okay.
So I think that also maybe helps because I
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Question here for Candace. So, what are your thoughts on OnlyFans, sex work, and do you believe that a woman doing OnlyFans or porn might have an impact on her future romantic prospects? And if so, how and why?
Before she answers that, what I found so interesting about that young woman is that the last one that was talking about she only does topless shit, is that she also has a second job, which is a flight attendant, right? She's 31 years old, flight attendant. She's in a relationship and does topless content on OnlyFans. I think the interesting part about that is that generally being a flight attendant, what is that, like $50,000, $60,000 per year? Way more than enough to support yourself, but maybe in California, she's looking for other things to substantiate a living. But it's just so interesting to me that she's sacrificing, right, like the potential of not being able to be taken seriously from a relationship perspective in order to put her titties out online, like, right, like, it's just so weird and it's so whack to me, but listen, it is what it is at the end of the day. Shout out to 392Q with a $5 super chat. No high value man with a sense is going to commit to that high mileage coochie. Yeah, with sense, bro. There's a lot of them without sense, and they get literally enamored by a pretty face. Shout out to Isdras, $10 super chat. The fact they euphemistically call fornication sex work is so evil. Getting in a relationship is leveling up from that. 304s online shouldn't demand high value men ever, even for soft corn. Yeah, and the idea is the more that we do content like this, maybe there's gonna be a lot more men that turn around and stop being goddamn modern day bitches and getting taken advantage of by these women that didn't save shit for them into the future. All right, let's keep going.
I can repeat it. That was a lot, so let me know if you need me to repeat anything.
I talk about this extensively on my show. I mean, The truth is that if you are going to engage in sex work, you are going to probably make a lot of money, especially if you're young. You're on a very tight rope. As you get older, your value goes down, and men are going to want women that are younger and available to them. I'm talking about in terms of just making the person who will subscribe to your OnlyFans page. Obviously, women, you're declining as you age. And the truth is that high value men don't want to date women that are sex workers or even women that aren't sex workers and lean into the whole talking about how sexy and are freely available on the internet for other men to see. What we're talking about is biological proclivity. What men are doing when they first say, this sounds amazing, to date a stripper or to date a prostitute or to date a sex worker, is there's this instinct to have sex. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to have sex all the time. But then when they realize that actually a form of wanting to be in a relationship is feeling that there's a mystery to a woman, that there's something that's yours, there's something that's sacred, there's something that's powerful and beautiful that just you share. And when they realize that they have to share that with other men, it completely diminishes the man. A recent cultural example of that, obviously, is what's happening with Nina Agdal. She's not a sex worker by any means. She just kind of said some sexy things on the internet about wanting cock, and look at what...
Was not expecting that from Candace.
I'm quoting her directly, so this is purely academic. Purely academic, and look at what happened. Now Logan has become the laughing stock of other men as they piece together everything that she's ever said that's overtly sexual. And again, she's not a sex worker, but what happened is her value just completely plummeted because they're this thing that men need to feel. And I don't want to say possession in a way that sounds bad, because it's not bad. It's actually really beautiful. And I'm lucky and fortunate that I get to experience that in my marriage, and it's something that women should strive toward. Women that make those exchanges in their youth, I think that's sad, and I do feel bad for Nina Agdal, is because she said a lot of those statements when she was really young. She's probably your age. And she had a camera and she said it, and it lives forever. And now every man that she dates is going to say Dylan Danis has made her available to everyone. And
so Candace's point is goddamn true, and she's absolutely correct. But think about this. Do you guys think that Logan Paul really didn't know about all of these things that she had on the internet? So it's a perfect example of actually what I'm saying as well, is that although she had all of this content available, and although Logan knew about all of the content, I mean, shit, he lives on the goddamn internet, he still decided to wife her up. And that's what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, a lot of these hoes, as long as they look good, they make out at the end of the day. Shout out to Tiger Shark for the $5 super chat. For a prostitute is a deep pit, and a wayward wife is a narrow well. Jesus, like a bandit, she lies in wait and multiplies the unfaithful among men. Proverbs 23, 27 to 28. Sheesh. The Bible is the first red pill. Lego.
And I hope things work out between her and Logan, but if you don't think that that's going to impact Logan or that's not actively impacting him as a man, it is. So with women, it's a trade-off. First thing you said was, I make money, this is about money. It's about money, but when it comes down to marrying these women, men just don't want it.
And that's exactly why I said that in this industry, I'm single until I retire. But it will still matter. I don't plan on doing this or getting married or finding the love of my life until I retire, like truthfully.
And then after that, you see what happens to Nina Agdal.
No. And then after that, I will be honest and truthful with the person that I will be getting married to or whatever, and it'll be up to him to accept that, right? So,
I'm just saying that men's natural proclivity is to not accept that because it brings them shame. Men are biologically proud creatures.
I understand, but not everybody can be like that.
No, I know. I'm not. I'm just telling you what is happening and why people are just talking about cultural events, the Agdal thing. And if you look at people like Emily Ratajkowski, she's obviously hot. But this is a woman who's now trying to make divorce chic. And I think that the understanding is in Hollywood is, sleep with her and move on. She's not marriage material. Her husband, when he had her, cheated on her because they didn't have that thing. I feel like I've slept with the girl. I've seen her naked so many times, right? So there's nothing special about Sebastian Baer marrying her because we've all seen her naked. There's nothing sacred in that relationship. And I'm just speaking on telling you, this is why women struggle to get married when they've made themselves available on OnlyFans, because other men don't want to share. They don't want to share their wife. They maybe will share their girlfriend. They might think it's fun to date a stripper for a little bit. They might think, oh, this means I'm going to have sex 12 times a day. But then when it gets down to just their biological instinct, it's actually quite embarrassing for them as a man because they can look up your girl and here she is, So that's what I think is happening.
Yeah, I'm just curious about your opinion on this because I've seen like a couple of people in like Red Pill spaces, like Paige or people similar to that, talking about how they should marry a young woman. Would you agree or disagree that might not be the most rational course of action?
To marry a young woman? What do you mean by that?
That I hear a lot of men talk about how a woman inherently loses value as she gets older, and that's why that they should seek out young women.
Well, I live in the South, and a lot of people get married young, and I think it's really beautiful and wonderful. They preserve this sort of innocence. I have people that work for me that want to get married at 22. They drop out of school. So I don't think there's anything wrong with marrying when you're young. I'd have to see the full context of what they're talking about, because I do think, obviously, the longer you wait, and especially in this society that's creating this simulation that sexuality equates to freedom when it doesn't, that what he might be suggesting is that the longer a woman runs free, the more partners that she's gathering, and her worth is being diminished. And I think that there is some veracity to that. But, you know, if it's said in a way that sounds a little crass, like seek out younger women because they're not as used, and I can see why people would be offended by it, but that might be underpinned by a little bit of logic. So I'd have to see the clip in its entirety.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is because in general, I think men do have a biological proclivity. I can't pronounce that word. Proclivity. You know, to seek out like youth and beauty. But I also think when it comes to like settle down, you want a mother who's going to be responsible and good towards her children. So I think the idea that like men seek out beauty is true, but I also think men seek out a level of like responsibility and maturity that only comes with age. So I was just curious because of the other stuff I've heard from people.
And also it's like sex is just sex. Like it's just sex. And when you have a partner, you have an emotional connection with them. And so like the guy on your last podcast, he was on here a few days ago, he was saying how like for men, sex is just sex. But like spending time with a woman and like buying her things and like going on trips with her is like different than having sex.
Oh, she's fucked up.
And that's why they were like in an open relationship or whatever.
What she doesn't understand how she's in the right industry. She's gonna be a forever hoe. Yes, sex is sex just for men, but you got to understand is that men are looking at a woman's past because it's an ego shot if we find out that you've been with the homies and all of the homies' friends. Okay, but it's not just sex for sex. It's not as easy as that, right? Like you are slow, madame, and I hate to say it like that, but your ability to understand kind of the difference between men and women, how we consider things, or the difference between when a man considers you just for sex as what they consider you for, and a man considers you for a long-term relationship. Those are very different things. You can't paint both of those things with a broad brush, because any man knows is that there's certain women for fucking and then there's certain women for actually taking serious.
Can I just have you scoot your mic that way a little bit? Yeah, perfect.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't say that like swapping DNA is like just sex. I mean, a man leaves a piece of himself inside of you.
But man, that's the way they think. And like for women, we get attached to them emotionally, having sex with them.
Which is why it's more of a, when women have a lot of partners, it is different. It is worse in a way, and people don't want to admit that. But because we are more emotional, there is an attachment. It isn't just sex for women. I think women are damaged by those relationships. Women like to think, because of the social simulation, that it can just be sex, it's whatever. Non-committal, the only people that benefit from that lie are men. It is not great to have sex and have a man not call you back. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't matter if a BuzzFeed article says it does. I had a wonderful weekend and this is why I had sex and didn't worry about it. You feel used, and especially I would say if you're not a sex worker and a man does that and never calls you back, and you don't even have money to show for it, I think it diminishes your self-worth even more than your worth to a man.
Hey, shout out to feminism. Feminism back in my 20s kept my dick quite moist. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I went to Penn State University for undergrad, and when I tell you it was a wild time, it was an absolutely wild time. Let's see how she argues this back.
The reason why I say sex is just sex is because in our line of work, we see it as transactional, right? Especially when we're working. And then at the end of the day, they go home to their wives or whatever, right? And it's like you're emotionally being there for them and taking care of them and doing all this, that, or the other.
So then sex clearly isn't just sex, it's also emotional.
It can be.
Yes. It can be, yes. But I was saying, according to the guy that he had on the last podcast, he said that for men, sex is just sex.
Well,
and that
she's slow.
I disagree with the idea that sex doesn't harm, or casual sex wouldn't harm a man or does harm women, or that sex is just sex. I think a lot of people tell themselves that, but I think it can like lead to a lifestyle of just like pure hedonism, whether you're like a man or a woman, and that can be like dangerous because then you're losing, sight of other things that you value or other aspects of life. So I don't really think I think for some people that can be true, but I think for the majority of people, like there's a reason why a lot of people are only into monogamy, or why that's been like the norm for a lot of cultures. And I think most people are a little bit hardwired to kind of seek out those intimate relationships. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I think that's how most people are, where casual sex can be.
Yeah, and I think it can definitely be harmful for men. I want to be clear. I'm saying that it's different for men and it's different for women, but I don't agree with the statement sex is sex. It's just sex at all.
And it's natural to be like attracted to a lot of different people. You know what I mean? So it's like,
but that comes with self-control. I think attraction is one thing, and acting on those needs or wants by sleeping with multiple people. I don't understand that.
Did you want to come in on
I
this?
guess I don't. What do you mean?
Like,
I
well,
don't
not-
understand
not
why
in
would you.
response to her,
she
but
needs some
just
help.
the-
In general?
Yeah.
Orange
I
needs
mean,
some help.
I don't necessarily agree with the idea that sex is just sex. When I was younger, I definitely had a lot
Oh, look at her shirt. Am I tripping? Made in hell? Whoa.
more, like casual sexual relationships, not one night stands or anything by that measure, more like situationship.
It low-key looked like Candace just saw her shirt as well. Wait, hold up.
A lot more, like casual sexual relationships.
Wait, hold up.
I don't. What do you mean?
Like,
I don't
not,
understand
not
why
in
would you.
response to her, but
Okay.
just the
In general?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the idea that sex is just sex. When I was younger, I definitely had a lot more, like casual sexual relationships, not one night stands or
Look at
anything by that
Candace.
measure, more like situationship. And as I got older, my views on it kind of changed, and you do feel differently when, like you were saying, it doesn't feel good to hook up with somebody and not have them call you back. So I actually was celibate for about 2 years before I met my partner, doing OnlyFans and everything else.
Your
I
current
wasn't,
partner?
Yes.
Okay.
I wasn't sleeping with anybody. I stuck to it very hard because I just didn't really like the feeling of sleeping with somebody and then getting an emotional attachment to them. So I think that certain people, because everybody is different, I don't think that it's that black and white. But I think to some people and to some women and to some men, casual sex really is just sex, whether they're leaving DNA or not. I think that there are people that do actually feel that way because I've met women that are like that. But for me, it is not that simple. And I don't think that it's that simple for most women.
Can I raise a possibility just because it's
It is simple for demons.
something that I've sort of seen? So I
Milk of magnesia. Go ahead, Tara.
do think it's possible that for some people, sex may be detached from romantic emotions with that person, but I do think there may always still be an underlying psychological part there of at least an ego boost, at least some sort of like grab for validation, some sort of grab for emotional intimacy, even if you're telling yourself, I'm just doing this because having casual sex is empowering and sex is just sex. I think even in most of the cases where people genuinely believe they're just having sex because it's sex, if they ask themselves a little further, why am I really doing this? Is it perhaps just, to placate my ego or for some sort of male validation or for some sort of like intimacy or connection because maybe I'm not getting it romantically otherwise, in a more like serious relationship. I would also press for that as a possibility, even in those cases of people who genuinely do think for themselves that sex is just sex.
I have no idea what she just said. I was too busy looking at her bone structure and how maybe I miss pink nipples. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the super chats that are coming into the building. Oh, whoa. Shout out to Ivan Jr. with the $100 super chat. New sponsor of today's show. Shout out to Ivan. I can't stand this podcast. As a high value man, they never get to the real point. For a man to be on this show, we have to bring a woman. He brings 8 women for views, but never brings a realistic man to showcase there are smart, intelligent, successful leaders available. I haven't done a lot of time watching the Whatever podcast. I don't know if I've actually watched one Whatever podcast. But that's why I'm bringing it up here to you guys, so I can form a better conclusion or summary to the things that I'm seeing up here, because as far as YouTube goes, they're the last, kind of show that takes the Fresh and Fit formula, the Kevin Samuels formula, and then puts it out for everyone to consume. So I'll form more of an opinion about that going into the future. So, but maybe to your point, I don't, looking at my email inbox, I've not seen an invite from them to come on our show. Oh, shout out again to Ivan Jr. with another $10 super chat. Instead of showcasing the valuable, they showcase the roaches. He's brought toxic men, but the main discussion of the show are men like myself who have no spot in this show. Okay. Fair point. Okay. Let's continue to watch.
Well, I guess we can look to the people that do it professionally. Do you feel that there's some underlying male validation in your work or no?
I find it very meaningful.
Wait, hold on.
I find it meaningful when couples come in.
There's a roach emoji. Put the roaches down into the chat for Ivan. Put the roaches down into the chat for Ivan. Let me go use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Ishmael said I almost hit my phone with my shoe. Ew, look at all them goddamn roaches down into the chat. Y'all are gross. Oh, no. Shit, look at all of them roaches. That is nasty. All right, guys, y'all ready? Chat, y'all ready? Wash them hands, brother. No! I didn't pee on my goddamn hands. And my dick clean, so, you know. Why? It's part of the reason today you goddamn soy enthusiasts always want to wash everything. You know what I mean? That's why your immune systems is made of shit, all right? Get a little bit dirty from time to time, all right? And it's not even goddamn dirty. I'm riding dirty. My dick clean. Shout out to Rick Ross. Fuck all that shit. Wash your hands. I used to date a girl who used to be like, "Yo, wash your hands, bitch. I'm not peeing on my goddamn hands, right? So just because I touch my arm, I need to wash my hands? It doesn't make sense. Because I touch my dick, I gotta wash my hands? Shut up. The dick's clean. I took a shower this morning. Shut up. How does it make sense? See, that's the thing. The women are convincing you how to do all this goddamn shit. What do they do for most of humanity? Soap is like a newish invention, okay? What did they do? Huh? These are real questions that we need the answers to. Y'all just say, okay, just wash your hands. Nigga, you pissing on, if you dribble on your hands, yes, wash your hands, okay? But that didn't happen, all right? We made a clean getaway. Clean getaway. I don't remember the last time that I've been sick, right? That's because the immune system is masculine, all right? Here you guys go washing your goddamn bed sheets every other day. That's why your immune system is shit. You don't touch grass enough. You're not outside getting dirty, all right? Work on your immune system, all right?
And they want to work on something, they're working on a goal. Maybe he's got a mental block and we're working on that. The gentleman that comes in that's having issues with erectile dysfunction and he's trying to troubleshoot that, and we actually create success for him. It's meaningful to me.
Wait, just one point of clarification. So you're a sex therapist?
As sex workers, we're basically sex therapists.
I don't have a counseling degree. I have a master's degree in education.
We have
I'm
an article. You recently kind of went viral. Nick, can you pull up the article? New York Post. New York Post. I'm a sex therapist.
Yes.
I sleep with clients to save marriages.
Oh my gosh! I got
They went
you were this
crazy.
person. I did see.
Did you reacted to this, or
I
you saw
almost
it?
did, but I'm here.
You're here now. So,
Perfect.
Nick, can you pull up the article really quick?
Yeah.
One more. Sex therapist Olivia Bentley. Wait. Nick takes a hands-on approach with her clients by sleeping with them. I've saved marriages. The Boise, Idaho native told Kennedy News, calling her work life-changing. I get physically involved with the majority of the people I see. I think that's part of the appeal. The veteran sex worker who spent 15 years in the industry claims that women have asked her to demonstrate sex acts on their husbands, while some wives grant their eager hubbies a hall pass to pay Bentley a visit. Good times. Is that pretty accurate? I mean, so you save marriages by having sex with the husband?
Well, I think the tabloids went crazy.
Okay.
But
New York Post is known to.
They really, went wild with it. But I do help a lot of couples that come in. One right now is asking me to lend a hand, and he's more of a beta, and she'd like him to be more of an alpha, and she wants me to work with him on being more just outwardly in control and aggressive in the bedroom, things like that. There's a lot of different psychological needs and reasons why people would want to come and work with professional sex worker.
Sure. Candace, it seemed like maybe you had something.
I think it's the most outrageous thing I've ever heard. It's so in the realm of like dragons and mythological creatures that it's hard to respond to. The idea.
Is this what Jason Love did to Adam 22? Helped save his marriage?
That she's saving marriages. It's just.
You're in disbelief.
I'm actually
Here's another
in utter
belief.
disbelief that she is saving marriages.
Here's another example.
Sure.
So like, and this has been, there's multiple clients that do that.
You ain't saving shit. You just prolonging the inevitable. Shout out to K-Sing Productions, $20 super chat. Damn, bro, you already passed 600K subs. Go MTR. Shout out, brother. Let's go.
Where the wife will not have sex anymore. She went and said, look, when they were courting each other, she was down for sex. She was a sexual person. She was all about it. Then let's fast forward, they're married. We're married now, contract solidified. I don't want to have sex anymore. Ew, oral sex is gross. Oh, that's demeaning if you're asking me to do that.
Are you hearing what this wench is saying? Woman sets you up like she's a goddamn Z6 Corvette. You get married to her. She turns out to be a Ford Pinto. How do you go from super sexual to after married? Ew, oral sex. Ew, I don't want to do anything with you anymore. You got set up. You got set up. I hope that it's not a real thing, to be honest with you. I really hope that women are not out here doing that bullshit.
So you're not saving marriages, you're helping people to keep up a farce that they are in a marriage. Because at the very moment that you let someone else into your marriage, it's no longer a marriage.
No.
Yeah.
And
these
women
guys
turned around and said, I will allow you to see a professional.
So they are not in a marriage. That's the point.
They're married, or some of their wives are
out,
like dying from cancer and this, that, and the other. And
if I'm dying from cancer and my
somebody
husband
sleeps
goes
with
to sleep
somebody
with somebody, I
else,
swear to God.
Their wives are the ones that come.
Hold on, just one at a time, please. Candace, were you...
I just would like to make the point that at the very moment that you loan your spouse out, especially if you're dying of cancer, so that they can get off, you're no longer in a marriage. So it's just a farce. It's like it's a comical. You're pretending for people that you're in a marriage, that you're in a loving relationship. That's not what a marriage is. So to say that I help marriages, no, you help destroy marriages, and they can go out and say that we're still married because what we've done is we've essentially said you take care of this aspect of the marriage. It's like saying you raise the kids, you have sex with him. This isn't a marriage. It's the whole thing is fake, right?
What do you think that they should do? What do you think that
they should work on their marriage together? The union between a husband and a wife should work on their marriage together to fix it. You don't bring out an outside person to sleep with your husband or your wife.
But if she's saying, I'm not down for sex,
then she might be down for a divorce.
I want to outsource the sex.
What if she's going to die from cancer and she
One
wanted him and she allowed him to do that because he needed to get off some way or shape?
While she was dying of cancer, one of the last things on her mind was,
this is a real life. This is a real life. This is a real life. Yeah, this was a real. I'm asking you.
And is that what he told you?
Yeah. So
his wife, that's dying of cancer, wanted him to come have sex with you.
Not with me. This is. From what I've heard, yes.
Somebody told you that as a dying wish, my dying
so
wife
how would
said,
you
please
want
go
that?
have sex with the prostitute.
I saw it on TikTok.
I'm just going to call bullshit on that
so
altogether.
No,
I just don't
because
think
it does
you're
happen.
dying of cancer,
It happens.
going through leukemia.
People will literally bring their guys here.
Please bring them on the podcast.
I just want to say that
Absurd scenario I've ever heard in my life.
There's
a lot of crazy shit.
There's
has been
marriage
asked for
counseling where they can take you through sex therapy where you don't have to sleep with somebody else. If it's about a woman not wanting to have sex anymore, what's the underlying reason? Are her hormones messed up so she's not wanting to be sexually active? Is there not enough foreplay when they're having sex? Like there's other avenues you can take for sex therapy.
Normal couples counselors.
Yeah,
real couples counseling,
regular.
where you try to solve the problem and you release it, and you don't just source it out to a prostitute.
Go ahead.
The cancer thing is crazy.
The
cancer thing is crazy. But
Yeah,
outside of that, I don't think that it's up to any of us what constitutes a marriage because every relationship is different.
Well,
so
the Bible.
if a husband, okay, but
These words have meaning.
Not everyone is religious.
Well, wait, hold on. Is that a cross
It
necklace?
doesn't constitute, like, what do you,
Wait,
yeah.
okay, really quick.
Not everybody's
Since we're
religious.
talking about religion really quick. Okay, you have a cross necklace, but then your shirt says "Made in Hell."
Yes,
Can
it
you?
does.
I'm a little confused.
Ironic,
Can you?
I mean,
I'm a little confused.
the stone is red, so it matched,
But why are you wearing a cross on your neck?
Color coordinating with your necklace?
Because I don't see a cross as religious, so.
Okay,
I
just
feel
like you don't
this
see
is
a
cute.
marriage as religious.
I don't think that a marriage
have meaning. This is why it's like we're at a stage where people are like, "What is a woman?" Because they just go, "Well, we're going to call it a marriage, but we're going to sleep with other people. We're going to bring in prostitutes. We're going to outsource raising the kids. Or we're never going to have kids. You're calling it a family. It's not a family, and this is what it is. The words have no meaning, right? I'm wearing the cross. Why? I don't know. I don't think of it as religious. Okay, well, Jesus Christ died on the cross.
You think that.
That's what you think.
Wait.
It's
That's
been
what you
proven.
think. So why are you wearing the
And
cross?
sex worker.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why so many people hate Candace Owens. I mean, I think I understand why because some of her things that she said regarding race. But as far as regarding relationship dynamics, gender dynamics, male versus female, what is a woman, all of this shit like that, I really like Candace Owens. Sorry. Sorry. I am a fan. I am a fan of Candace Owens. I think that she's incredibly smart, the way that she can break this shit down. Keep going, Candace. Don't stop ever.
worker is a more the design is cute.
Yeah.
Better
Wait, real quick.
grew up.
Hold up, I'm gonna slow this part down. I've been at 1.25 for a little bit now. Let's slow this part down so we can really assess what's going on. Shout out to Duca with the 10 CHF. As a member of from the BRICS country, shout out to MTR for uncovering the BRICS scammer. Shout out, my G. There's some more content coming. Shout out. Let's keep going.
Catholic. I was religious and I'm not
Prostitution
anymore. I
being
don't have to
held.
believe in what you believe. And I can say that if
I didn't say you had to believe. I asked you a question.
But
I
you're
said, why are
telling
you
me,
wearing the cross?
Okay, and you're saying that the religious aspect of marriage is the only thing that matters. It's not, because people don't follow what you believe.
Okay, I asked you why you're wearing the cross, and you said because you thought it was cute.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
glad
do.
we got an answer. She's wearing the cross around her neck because she thinks it's cute.
Oh my
I do,
God.
which I'm not religious.
Also wear like a Star of David.
It's cute.
As well, like
because-
if it was cute, would you wear
Well,
it?
okay, well,
I
I
just
don't know
mean like
where we're going.
I'm
She's
asking
good.
that because I wonder.
Well,
like
I
my
have-
guess is that you would think that
gotta talk.
maybe you wouldn't wear a Star of David because you're like, oh, this is maybe like disrespectful to people who are.
Yeah.
Are you making the
Jewish.
argument? Maybe, I mean,
No, I'm just.
the secular.
It's a very
here,
good question.
I'm just saying.
Devil's advocate here. Secular argument. Someone might just say that the cross is just maybe it's more aesthetically pleasing even for an atheist. I don't know.
Sure,
I
but
don't know.
liberals
Okay,
are all
look.
about like having
Would you wear,
respect
like, a
and
yarmulke 'cause
tolerance.
it's, like,
So I'm
cute?
just like wondering if you
I'm
think
asking
it's.
if would you wear a yarmulke? That's
I think those are very
Oh,
different
are you talking
things.
like
Why is the
blasphemy?
cross?
Why is the cross any different than a goddamn yarmulke? You know, this is actually a component of the reason that people kind of look sideways at Christianity, because there's no, right? Like if you did this to Muslims, they would make sure that you would feel their wrath. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to be YouTube friendly within this. But you can kind of just shit on Christianity and no one gives a fuck. So shout out to Candace, because I believe that's the religion that she prescribes to, for calling her out on her bullshit. Why would a yarmulke be any different? The symbol of, a component of the symbol of being Jewish, how is that any different than a component of the symbol of being Christian? Please let us know.
Different from the yarmulke.
I'm just.
I mean, I was
asking-
raised Catholic, and that's just
Would
not
you
something
wear
that I
a
believe
You didn't answer the question at all, moron.
If you thought it was cute.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, a yarmulke is completely different than
No,
a cross that's
it's
been
not.
adapted
They're
into
different.
different. You can
No,
buy
it's
a cross
not.
necklace anywhere.
There's symbols of a
Okay,
religious.
the argument of why it's different basically would come down to like how Catholicism has been practiced versus Judaism, in the sense that like Catholics did use the cross symbol, tried to emplace it like in indigenous populations, tried to spread it as much as possible, and that's why in modern day a lot of people think that's like more okay, because it was meant to be popularized. It was meant to be a symbol that the masses should look up to and should see in general, versus Jewish symbols.
Okay.
I would argue didn't go through that.
I think we're kind of derailing a little bit.
Yeah.
You wanted to come in and go ahead.
Yes.
So back to the interesting brothel stories. I wanted to say we do actually have men coming in with their parents. Yeah, this actually their
happened.
wives.
Wait.
So I had a
What?
time where
With their parents?
a guy came in with both his parents.
What?
All the way from England to come to the Mustang Ranch because he wanted to lose his virginity.
Wait, is this
And
really
his
where we left
parents-
off? I'm just not following.
And his parents
the relation to our
paid
previous.
for him to have sex with legal prostitutes.
Yeah, she's in the right industry. You could having a conversation with her is like talking to a stump. Okay, why did she even say any of this? Like, who was talking about the bunny ranch? Who was talking about being a prostitute? Who was talking? No one was talking about this shit. It had literally nothing to do with the conversation. She is, whoa, that bitch is crazy. Shout out to Glorious Crown with the $5 super chat. Longtime supporter. Other than teas, do you have any recommendations on exfoliating your skin or diet to have great skin? Yes. Drink a gallon of water a day. Shout out, my brother. Shout out to Andre Etienne with a $10 super chat. Can someone explain to me how we have unmarried sex workers explaining how to fix a marriage and how they can call themselves therapists? Very true. This is why therapist profession is so ridiculous now. Shout out, my brother. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Lego.
I want your stance on that, because what's your stance on that?
And if I may,
And wait,
nowadays,
can I just say
like
that for me, I
usually
enjoyed the
call it
experience.
sex workers, not prostitutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait,
Well,
I'm
she
sorry.
said
Wait,
she
wait,
said
wait.
prostitute.
Yeah, it's because
Okay.
they keep
Wait,
it.
said
Because they
prostitutes.
keep.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
just-
usually
You said
sex
prostitutes beginning of the
worker,
year.
prostitutes a
Is
little
it
bit more
question? Is it
demeaning.
like a? Is
Well,
it?
she said that at the
is
beginning.
it-
Yeah, the orange chick said prostitutes first, but instead she likes sex workers and courtesans. Please don't call us a prostitute because the meaning of the word is just so... Shut up! Shut up! Shut up, you liar! Shout out to Idris again with a $5 super chat. Hyssop is what's used for soap in old times. It's a plant blacks were always clean, sir. Oh, you talking about me washing my hands? Okay, yeah, but they weren't using hyssop after every time that they took a piss, was my point, okay? I stand on this, all right? All right? Man up. Get yourself a little bit dirty nowadays, okay? Shout out to Official Circuit with a $10 super chat. They're going to eat me up on the sound clips. It's crazy because as a Christian, it's crazy how Christianity is ridiculed and scorned by the world. Almost like it's a trend both online and offline. Yeah, it just seems like they're not holding the line when it comes to that religion. Hold on, I think I have the perfect meme for what it is that we're looking at right now. Hold on, let me try to get it out real quick. Hold on, I got a whole folder for this shit. We're gonna make this work. Oh no, wrong folder. Here we go. Can I make this play?
Shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
Lego.
Legal prostitute. She said legal prostitute.
Yeah. I don't want to offend anybody. Is prostitute like a?
It's old school. It's still on the books, like on Nevada's books. But like the hipper way to say it is sex worker.
But here's the thing with sex workers.
Personally, you can call me a legal prostitute.
Yeah,
I got you. Cool. But the thing with the term sex worker is that is such a broad. It includes strippers. It includes women who take lingerie photos who aren't naked. Wait, question. Is stewardess okay? Because you're a flight attendant, so I'm just curious.
It's not the term that we
Would you be
prefer.
offended if someone referred to you as a stewardess?
No,
you get any
older people do all the time.
Doesn't bother you?
No.
Okay. All right. Just curious. Just wanted to make sure since we're...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a big deal.
Earlier it was like talked about like how, sleeping or letting your husband or wife sleep with someone else is like irresponsible or it's not a marriage anymore. Like I'd be kind of curious of what you believe a responsible marriage is like. Or I understand that you have a religious view of marriage,
Candace.
but when I think about a marriage, I think like I could see somebody saying they're married if it's like completely romantic, like you're not allowed to do romance with anyone else. Like basically, what does a responsible marriage mean to you?
Marriage is not just a contract. Like it wasn't just like the government came up with a contract for people to get married. The history of marriage, you can't separate that from the church. The problem is people are trying to make things cool and trying to update and make them modern. And now people are saying you can have a polygamous marriage and you can bring in other people on the outside of a marriage. What's the point of getting married? Literally, I'd like to ask the question: if you think that you can, if you want to marry somebody and then outsource the sex, outsource the responsibility, outsource what the labor of love is actually supposed to be about, why not just stay single?
What? Yeah.
So you wouldn't do a threesome with your husband?
Absolutely not, because
what the fuck? No one answered her goddamn question, which is so crazy. Shout out to Dear Woke Christian with a $10 super chat. Your commentary on this video is spectacular, fam. Thank you so much, brother. Glad to find your channel. Candace is slaying these fools. Yes, she absolutely is. I may do a reaction on this too. Yeah, definitely do it. Shout out, brother.
Because he's my husband.
Did you even have to ask that to get the answer?
I mean, there's married
not.
couples that want to have threesomes, and
you know
some
what
of
happens?
these ladies are bi-curious.
You should jump into those Reddit threads because every single time that marriage ends in divorce. There's so many Reddit threads.
No,
about,
they don't.
And a lot of them actually
regulars
do really
of
well
over 5
too.
years.
Okay.
And
there's some that
not
do really
divorcing.
Do you believe atheists can get married?
I think atheists get married because they want a tax break. I don't see the point in an atheist getting married. Why don't you just live with your partner, okay? Whoever it is that you're dating, you're at the stage you said, I don't know if you live with your boyfriend or whatever it is. Why take the next leap? If you're wearing crosses for fun and, it
I mean, if
like
you're actually asking the question,
yeah.
I mean, because then I would just be pledging the fact that I would want to be with them forever.
But you can just be with them forever.
Without
so
marriage.
what is it that you crave that when you want to get married? What's that next step for you? What does it mean? What's the difference between dating and marriage?
Because it's a commitment.
Is dating not a commitment?
It's a commitment, but it's saying a
But
next
you're
step. It's solidifying it.
Okay, solidifying what? Because if
solidifying a bond between two people that love each other.
Okay, but what is solidified? If you can then jump into that next commitment, which is the exact same as dating, and you can sleep with other people and you can put topless photos on the internet, what are you getting married for? Pictures on Instagrams to say you did it?
I mean, I'm not sleeping with other people.
What's the difference for you between dating and marriage?
I just told you, it's a bond between two people. You're solidifying that by law. You're literally making it known. I want to be with this person forever. It isn't just a simple breakup. Oh, I can go and do whatever the fuck I want and leave. It's a partnership. It's a bond. It's forever.
But there's no difference between dating and marriage other than the idea in your head that it's a bond, because you're saying also.
But it's not an idea in my head. It's on paper.
Oh, okay, it's the paper. That was.
But it's not but I'm saying it's not a tax break. It's a legal thing.
And I think for people that are
connecting to
committed,
somebody for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well, I think for people that think about marriage and don't think about a cross as something funsy to wear, it's not a piece of paper. It is a union between a man and a woman, a sacred union that should be protected from external forces. Definitely not something that you open up. How I would feel disgusting if my husband ever came to me and said, I want you to sleep with another man or sleep with another woman so that I can fill my sexual fetish. I mean, it's an utter perversion of what it means to be married, and it will lead to divorces. People that have this perspective will, and I'm not saying that if you don't do it, you won't get divorced 100%, but I do want to say that there is probably a reason that a lot of sex workers struggle to find people that want to marry them.
Well, can I say?
Oh my God. Trophy emojis down into the chat. Chat. Let's all band together. I don't want to see no white text. Trophy emojis down into the chat for Candace Owens right now. I think I'm going to label the re-upload for this video something like Demon 304 gets destroyed by Candace Owens. I think that is an appropriate title for that. I want to see how she's going to respond, but before we get into the response, trophy emojis down into the chat for Candace Owens. Trophy emojis down into the chat. I've never always agreed with Candace, but goddamn, is she cooking? She is cooking. We about to change the name to Chef Candace. Chef Candace. Damn. The stove is hot, Candace. Relax, baby girl. Relax. Relax, girl. Shit, Candace. Whoa. 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 Yo, listen. Here's the thing, okay? I'm absolutely terrified of marriage because of divorce, but the more that I hear Candace talk, it begins to put into your mind of why marriage can be sacred to people from a biblical perspective. And that's when you understand it, because the bitch, she can't even say it's just paper. It's just to lock us in our love for forever. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Why can't you do that without doing it in front of the government? Why? Why can't you just say, hey, I got you, you got me, let's just do this thing. Let's just ride this shit out. Why? But for someone who wears a cross for funsies, as Candace said, it makes sense because you're just blurring the lines, as what these woke lefty liberals tend to do. They just blur the lines. Words don't matter anymore. What is a woman? Wow. Shout out to the chat. I saw y'all came through with all of that. Did I miss a super chat? Oh, shout out to Preston Walker with a $20 super chat. It's bag fumbling season. No bag fumbling Fridays at Idaho Bag Chasers. Stay bag chasing, my friend. Bag chasers are those who chase the better versions of themselves, always chasing that bag. They sound like they chasing to fit it, justify how they are. Shout out my brother for the $20 super chat. There you go.
Say a lot of the perversion that comes if you are not going to be acceptant with your partner. If he comes to you and is like, hey, I really like getting pegged, I want you to peg me, and you're like, ew, that's so disgusting, like I would never do that. You want me to eat your ass? I would never do that.
Gay.
Well then, okay, what are you gonna do? Divorce him? Or what are you gonna do? Realistically, I'm asking you hold on, I want to know, what are you gonna do? That's your husband. He's like, hey babe.
I think one of the things about marriage that's really beautiful is I know what my husband, before we got married, I think I know who he is.
But things change, and maybe he wants to start.
Nah, nigga, hold up. Things don't change, you soulless demon. A man doesn't go from heterosexual intercourse. I'm trying to remain YouTube friendly. A man doesn't go to that to say, honey, please come blow my back out. You know what? Use that one right there. I like that one because it's extra veiny. Okay? That's not what happens. That's actually not a real thing. Okay? What is this shit? What reality do you live in where this is now a thing? Gay. Gay. Gay, 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 gay. You soulless. Look into her eyes. Hold on, let's zoom into this shit real quick so we can get a proper look at what's going on right here. Hold on, guys. This is, I cannot believe this shit. Oh, damn, baby girl, what happened to you? Women like this, or just people in general like this, I like to just think of them, you know, if I'm trying to like be empathetic for them, just think of them as an infant, as a child. Before her soul was robbed, probably just from her own doing and being indoctrinated to the media today, she was a baby at some point. She was a baby at some point. She was a toddler at some point, right? All of her lack of parenting, her lack of structure, her lack of framework, her lack of discipline instilled within her life, she eventually got here to readily consider that it's normal. And what do you do if your husband is now gay and wants to get pegged? Let's not get it twisted. That's some gay-ish, right? Like that is without a doubt. Okay, and I'll venture on and go on to say is that dudes who over prioritize the back door as opposed to the viscous innards, also gay. Sorry. Just is what it is. I don't like no type of activity down there. All right. I was recently talking with a chick. I said, I'm not into I don't want to go. I don't understand the point. If the viscous or innards are right there, why am I going in the poop chute? It's an exit only activity. Give me nothing. I want nothing out of that thing. I don't even want to look at it. Okay. I don't want to look at it. You understand me? Nothing to do with it. It's an exit only hole. Only. Jesus. Hold on, am I locked up? Hold on. Give me a second. How do I transform? Exit only. Hold on. Sorry. It's live stream. Get over it. Hold on, sorry. Why'd you change the orientation, MTR? Shut up. All right, let's go.
Exploring.
He wants to start doing what?
So he wants to start exploring, and he's like, oh my gosh, maybe I do want you to like eat my ass, and I kind of want you to peg me. Like I kind of want anal penetration from you because you're my wife and you're so beautiful and hot, and we're married and we have kids together, and I'm feeling a little bit kinky, and I with you, since we have this special marriage and bond. How would you feel if we could just try this out just this one time, babe, please?
I think it would probably indicate to me that my husband was involved in some perverse world, whether it was through pornography, that something else was happening on the side, because these aren't normal things that people just think of when they wake up.
So
like,
what's your next
I'd
move?
really like a strap-on dildo.
Okay, right.
Well,
so what's your next move?
What's the ultimatum? He's going to divorce me if I don't peg him?
So what's your next move?
Crazy. I would think that individual would probably need therapy and not the kind that you give.
Okay. And but you're gonna stay with this person?
You don't immediately divorce.
Okay.
Marriage is about working through issues and working through problems.
Okay.
You don't immediately divorce them. And this gets back to what she was saying about if your husband, if suddenly a woman doesn't want to have sex, which would be another huge issue in a relationship, I would hope that my husband wouldn't instantly divorce me, but I would hope that they would take
some guys are terrified of that, and some guys don't even feel like they can open up to their wives about that
Sounds
stuff.
like they need therapy.
They need therapy.
Open up to his wife.
Yeah, I know.
You got to work on your marriage.
But the thing is that they'll come to us.
Oh my God.
Talking to us about that. You know what I mean? So it's just like...
And
I bet you this slow 304 demon satanic witch woman thinks that she's a substitute for a therapist. I bet you. Hopefully they ask that question. Shout out to Andre with the $10 super chat. Pegged. Oh, have mercy, Lord. This is why I will never leave my Caribbean and African communities. Yeah. I agree with you, my G. All right? Ain't nothing going up the poop chute. Sorry. Shout out to Sheeny Beanie with a $10 super chat. We live in an unrepentant, rebellious against God society. That whatever podcast displays a moral bankruptcy and utter lost state without Christ. It is perversion. Candace is right.
I don't know. That's unhealthy. And I think that, the fact that sex workers exist as this, what you believe to be a solution, when in fact that's a detriment, because you're getting in the way of the wife and the husband being able to communicate. And so I would much rather my husband go, if there was an issue and your wife's not having sex, I'd rather him go talk to a priest. I'd rather him go talk to another male. When males sit down and talk about, hey man, you should talk to her about this. I'd rather him,
what man nowadays
let me finish my
do
statement. I'd rather him, what do you mean? Bros talking to each other about things? That's a normal, I'd rather if I have an issue in my, it's pretty normal. I'd rather go talk to my sisters about things that are going on in my marriage. There's a lot of steps you can take before you talk to a prostitute about your marriage. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I live in such a crazy.
I'm saying, what man is willing to do that?
Turn on a Taylor Swift song, cry a little bit in my room. I don't know. There's a lot. I would turn to Taylor Swift before I would go to a prostitute about my marriage.
I know, but you're not a male, so I'm just saying, like,
men can talk to other. What are you talking about? There's all of these podcasts of men talking to men and being inspirational and talking about porn addiction and talking about the things that are corrupting men's minds. That's out there.
Okay,
and those are I would much rather my husband listen to those men and look for guidance, whether it's in the church, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's a spiritual leader, than to turn to a prostitute in a brothel.
I hear you.
So there's a lot of steps that you can take from we're having an issue in our marriage to my husband's at a brothel laying next to a prostitute talking about issues in my marriage.
I think actually, let me just step in really quick. I do think, though, I would like to redirect the conversation, because I do think it's probably a very small portion of people who are married are seeking to bring in a prostitute for the husband. It just seems like such a small kind of, I don't know. What's up, really quick?
Statistically, married men are actually the highest number of clientele for prostitutes.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying, please listen for me. I'm literally telling you guys, males come to us and say all this stuff, which is like, they're first scared of you guys because how you might react. Two, they feel like they can't be honest and open with you guys. That's why they result in coming to places like that.
Just so you guys know, that statistic doesn't mean that the majority of married men go to prostitutes. So
I didn't say that.
No, I know. I'm just letting her know, because she said, like, yes, like it was if it was a debunk. I think what he's saying is that the majority of married men don't turn
I'm just saying, like,
to prostitutes.
So
there might be a small contingent, and they
saying,
might be majority married.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
I think that's a good reason to have, I guess, to on the.
Yeah, that was a great point by Candace. I'm glad that she slowed that down, because she said yes as if that was a win. What that means more so is that men have other options outside of their marriage because they're not married. Single men, they don't have to deal with a wife. So a lot of these guys are just saying, well, this is here. And that goes through the marketing, the advertisement of what this is, right? They go on a whatever podcast, and through her talking about pegging dudes, right? Dudes hear that shit and they maybe see this as an option. So they reach out on the Instagram, or if they're in Vegas, or if they're this or they're that, right? It's better advertisement than for therapy or going to a church, right? Or just talking it out with your significant other. So at the end of the day, all I see is these prostitutes just being capitalist, right? There's a problem here and I am the solution. Whether or not that solution is actually a long-term solution, or am I just a Band-Aid for the particular problem. All right. Shout out to Tiff Dawn, $5 super chat. Orange shirt is hurt and it's so obvious. That example was so specific. Let it go, babe. She's taking so much joy in this. I'm going to pray for her. Shout out to Tiff. Ladies coming through and supporting the platform. Shout out to Tiff. All right. I think that's it. Or did I miss another one? Oh, shout out to Dear World Question with the $5 super chat. Candace is going to get 8 consecutive life sentences for murder. She's savaging these poor girls. Candace is demolishing them like a boss.
Point of, like, something was brought up earlier about, like, what is, like, a responsible marriage to you. So part of being a good partner as, like, a wife or girlfriend to whoever you're with is making them feel comfortable telling you anything, especially if it's something that they think is serious enough to consider leaving, like, their relationship with you for. Like if it's serious enough that they would consider divorcing you if they can't explore the sexual fantasy or anything like that. I think that's just a part of being good on the I agree with what you're saying here, that they that these men don't feel comfortable that they could tell their wives, and I guess that's just a part of being, not that it's justifiable that you as a wife you should give in to any sexual fetish your partner brings to you. It's whatever you're comfortable with and wherever your boundaries are, but I guess that's a part of that continuous conversation with them, so that they always feel comfortable bringing up anything to you as a friend, as like a confidant, and knowing they're not going to be judged, but that they'll be a partner with you in figuring out how to do
I do have to move on. So we have a couple chats here I want to try to get through. We have Beaten Cheeks, Candace Owens, do not hold back on these libs. Wipe the floor with your intelligence. Congrats on being prego again. Be easy with my Essie though. She's about to get retired out soon.
Okay, first of all, I have beef with Beaten Cheeks because he asked me on a date and then posted a photo with another girl on Twitter.
Oh,
so
are you guys loyal? I mean, he asked you on a date and you guys are committed to, you're committed to Beaten Cheeks with his
we're
ridiculous
basically together.
name.
So he's posting photos with another woman right after asking me out.
Beaten Cheeks.
He's literally breaking my heart. He's breaking
commit
my heart.
this act of infidelity on Essie over here, who you've never met yet. Okay, we have Frankie K. Hey, thank you, man. You know what's funny about Beyonce? She encourages single ladies to have fun, supports promiscuous behavior in her music, and perpetuates the I don't need a man mentality. And when she's done recording, she goes home to her husband and her children.
Facts.
Who, by the way, Jay-Z cheated, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Good point, Frankie. Thank you, man. We have Canada J, Candace, the Honey Badger Queen. Is that your nickname?
I don't know.
Or did you just get bestowed with
I just got bestowed.
Thank you for your voice and being on. This wacky space is a cultural battlefield that somehow pushes beyond ideological bubbles. When are Jeremy and Ben going to make Brian an offer? Seriously, think about it.
Yeah. I'll bring it to them. I've got a lot to bring to them. After.
Yes, the Tiger King.
Yeah, Tiger King and Matt Walsh.
There you go. All right, we have Travel Trades here. Oh, wait. I'll just read. Hi, Brian.
All right, I'm going to skip some of these super chats, but I got some as well. Shout out to C Data, $10 super chat. MTR, good to see you keeping KS legacy. RIP to the king. Only you and O'Shea keep it real, bro. Keep going. Bless up from Jamaica. Shout out. Appreciate the love. Coffee Killer, $5 super chat says, the more I hit Candace, the more I like Candace.
Hi, Brian. Long time odd having to people appeal their own great age. That's probably not, I don't know. Panel, please listen to everything that Candace says. You have a rare opportunity to see what a high value woman is and learn from her, as she's intelligent, respected, and accomplished. You can't justify and make excuses for your lifestyles. Anybody got a response to
let's
that
see.
one?
Thank you.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right.
I like my lifestyle.
I love my lifestyle.
I
and
could
what it's
change it
created
at
for
any
me.
time. Being in this industry, you don't run out of opportunities. Men are coming all the time. If I wanted to settle down with one of them, I think that could have happened.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say men are coming to you all the time as clients, right?
Yeah.
And you said if you wanted to settle down with any of them, you could, but do you find the men who come to you attractive? Because I mean, I've heard from a lot of women who do OnlyFans, or even women who are exotic dancers, strippers, whatever, and women who do porn or even adult content, that the men that typically like are the fans or consume the content or come and see you, your clients, a lot of these women don't view these men, like just by virtue of them coming to you or by virtue of them subscribing to your OF, like that in and of itself makes them not a prospect for any like long-term relationship.
It's absolutely ridiculous for her to think that she has kind of the pick of the litter, that men are coming to her and she won't have a problem, is literally delusion at its finest. Baby girl, all I hear is this. Your eggs are fried.
These are normal guys, and some of them are hot. So I'm a fitness competitor.
Okay, all right.
I'm 46 years old. I figured I was going to age out of the industry. What has happened? MILFs are all the thing. They're the cat's pajamas right now. So I'm getting a ton.
MILF.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of youngins. coming.
youngins.
The youngins.
The youngins.
Young gentlemen.
Really?
Tons of
Okay.
them. And then, fitness competitors, judges that judge in the circuits, and then they'll say, hey, you're looking good, or
Turn it back to
or
1.25.
tighten this up. So there's a lot of opportunities to meet a lot of individuals now.
To meet them though, but I mean,
And
when
date-
it comes
and
to
date them, and
when
they
it comes
come
to
back.
long-term commitment, I mean, I think
I agree. What I encounter in something what Candace said is these guys, they are prideful. So once they start dating you, they do, in my experience, they do want you to maybe consider settling down. Now, I've done real estate. I was vice president of business growth at an active wealth management company during COVID. I have a master's degree. I can do different things.
what do you have a master's in?
Education. I
Okay.
got straight A's.
Okay.
So, and I taught for a while. So I come in and out. I'll go into white collar work, and then I'll go back into the industry because it's fun for me. I enjoy it, and it is good money, and it's an adventure. I enjoy going out with these guys and being a travel companion and getting to go on vacations.
No, I just wanted to ask you, as the man sitting at this table, are you attracted to their lifestyles? Do you think men are attracted to their lifestyles? I'm just curious about your opinion, just to hear a male.
I don't care.
Well, that's so rude.
No,
He
but
sat
I mean,
here and asked you your opinion about
no,
everything.
I said, good thing I don't care for
But I
what
didn't-
other male has to say about my industry.
But
I'm
he's
just
been
saying.
asking you questions about what you think about men.
No, I'm gonna
He's been
listen to
asking you
him.
questions about your life, and the first thing when I
No,
ask one
he can
question to
say his
him,
question.
you
I'm
say
just
I don't
saying, like,
care. I feel like
personally,
I'm very hurt.
Like-
I want to know.
Yeah, but why
How
interrupt
dare
that?
you.
Like when he asks you a question, what if someone said, I don't care what she says? I think that's just a
No,
little
like
rude.
I'm saying, like because everybody's always out here. I see your faces that you're giving her and stuff like that. And I think
No,
it's funny.
I just am
And so
saying, like, I'm letting her
like,
talk, but I just wanted to hear his opinion on it. So I just, was
ahead,
that like a
Ryan.
little bit of insecurity to just jump and say, I don't care? Because
Can I
did you
poach
think-
Candace from the Daily Wire?
Well,
I think I need
it was
to
just a little rude.
I need to cut- I need to
He's
cut-
let
I
you
need to
talk so
defend
much.
her.
We've all been letting people talk with different perspectives. So I just thought it was like, suddenly he hasn't even said anything and you've
there was
already
a few
diminished.
times where
Condescending
Okay, well,
look. Yeah.
Oh, guys, listen. Candace is dropping life lessons down up in here. Candace could have let the comment go and just could have let Brian answer, but she checked the bitch. She checked her hard. And that's the thing, is that to slow down the conversation to say, oh, that was rude. Why did you do that? Asking someone why are you being passive aggressive? Why are you treating me like that in a public setting? You can get some of the most fascinating answers. Some of the most fascinating answers. It just so happens that it also translates here into great content. I would say within a public setting, you have to be very mindful who's in the room with you, right? If you're in a business setting, perhaps think about taking it behind scenes and addressing it depending upon who's in the room. If you have higher ups in the room, be very careful. But from a content setting, she played it absolutely correct right there. Check the bitch. Check her. Shout out to Black Dante with the $5 super chat. Leaf, weed, got me thinking. Destruction of their walls makes me hit the wall harder than life. Shout out, bro. Appreciate that. Shout out to Deval. It's funny, all of these O's up there, but Candace is the best looking one up there. Debatable. I think Candace is an attractive woman, but it's debatable. Shout out to Sheeny Bitty, $5 super chat. Candace isn't just cooking, she's roasting, grilling, boiling, frying. Heck, she even got the Seuss video out. I don't know what that is. Shout out, brother.
Well,
yes.
in any case,
it's okay.
I just want to hear a
Just
male
continue,
voice. Like we've been all talking
okay,
about our
I'm trying to
opinions.
let Brian continue, and you're still talking.
Okay.
Wow.
Not sure.
Okay, I'm
Okay, well, in any case,
so it's okay.
I just want to hear
Just
a male
continue,
voice. Like we've been all talking
okay,
about our
I'm trying
opinions.
to let Brian continue, and you're still talking.
Okay.
A little bit of insecurity coming out over there. Not sure where it's coming from, but go on.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, do I have your permission? Is it okay? Is it okay? Okay, cool.
Weird.
So sorry, can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, I was just saying it's interesting because we're all women and we're giving different perspectives and the female perspective on this topic. When you hear what she just said about sex work and how she feels about sex work, or you hear what she's saying, or you hear what she's saying, what is your honest opinion as a man? Because what we're trying to get to, I think the nucleus of is, high value women, high value men, what creates that, how men respond to that, and we have the opportunity to hear a man.
I love the question that she's asking, because it's actually asking the man, what do they feel about the lifestyles of the women at the table? That's why the orange young lady tried to deflect to that degree, because she doesn't want to hear the answer, because she lives in her own reality, in her own space, where she probably makes a great deal of money in doing what it is that she does from an S work, adult entertainment perspective. So what she did, she tried to deflect the conversation so that Brian didn't answer it, to get the answer that he's probably going to say right now. But let's see how he answers it.
I mean, I personally would not date a woman who is involved in sex work in any of its various manifestations. I mean, it's kind of, I'm not really like a hater if people want to do that sort of thing. On a societal level, I don't know if it's, the best thing, but I'm kind of like, hey, whatever, go do your thing. But as far as my own personal preferences, standards, and boundaries when it comes to a relationship, I don't foresee myself wanting to get involved with someone who does sex work.
And why do you think that is? I think most men would agree with you. I think that makes sense to me. But why is that? Because I think it's just interesting to hear a male perspective. That's all.
I agree with him, but it's just odd that he's beating around the bush like that.
Sure. I mean, well, kind of going back to there being different levels to it. So, I mean, if she's a prostitute or was a prostitute, I mean, it's kind of, I feel like that's just common sense. Like, I wouldn't, no offense, I just wouldn't date a woman who's a prostitute.
I'm not offended, like I said.
And probably they wouldn't want to date me. I don't know. It's fine. It's cool. But yeah, I wouldn't. No, because I would want monogamy. I'd want loyalty. And even though it's for work and they're just doing it for money, my view of sex is not, I don't think you can, well, people do, but I don't think you ought to detach intimacy from sex. And people who engage in a lot of casual sex or people who do it for work, you've essentially just detached intimacy from sex. So definitely not a prostitute. I mean, not a stripper, not a OnlyFans, no.
I feel like that was just like an unnecessarily long way to answer. Like, no, dude's gonna want to date a hooker. I don't know. It's like, I don't think it's like that.
Shout out to Tara.
Yeah, and I said I don't care because it's like, and you're like, no, don't take offense. Like, I'm not gonna take offense to something I don't care about. That's why I'm like,
no, it's just
Bro, a chick caught you off and say some shit shorter than what you tried to say yourself. One word, beta.
And you stated, you were like, and you looked at me and you said, and don't take offense. Like, baby, I'm not offended by any means. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's totally
not
fine.
looking for a relationship right now.
I'm not trying to offend you. She was just asking me.
Yeah, I literally was just asking a
stance.
question.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier I was like talked about like promiscuity. Like, I'm assuming you guys believe like promiscuity is like bad or shouldn't be encouraged in society. I was wondering what specific factors do you think encourage it most? Do you believe it's like media? Do you think like birth control has anything to do with it? Do you believe like, I want to know what your top factors of promiscuity are and what you believe it is.
Yeah, so I would say number one contributor is culture and the education system. So I remember when I was left leaning, a lot of my ideas came from the school system and just what you're talking about, Planned Parenthood in the classroom. That effort began in the 70s. The majority of high schoolers were graduating with their virginity intact in the 70s before they started teaching health class, which was teaching people that everybody's doing it, and actually they weren't. And within 1 decade, it completely flipped, and the majority of teens were now graduating having lost their virginity. So we ceded a lot of that to the education system, which when parents had more control over their children, what was happening in the classroom was based on arithmetic and not cultural issues, and focusing on engineering children to think that sex is this positive, it's you just do it, everybody's doing it, doesn't matter if you have multiple partners. You combine that with feminism in the classroom. I was forced in college to take a feminism 101 course, and they kind of made you think that,
Beaten Cheeks donated $200. Candace, please tell these women their past promiscuous matters to be with a decent guy that will not be beta males. SC, that was just a friend, we still on relax. Just answer my text and we good I promise equals D.
All right, thank you, Cheeks. Was there a question here for Candace, or is that these women your past promiscuous matter?
Wait, do you mind if I push back a little bit on the education system comment?
Sure.
Okay. Because at least from the things that I've read and that I've studied, it seems like that is true, but in a very particular context. And that very particular context was like basically abstinence only education, which I don't know about you guys, but makes complete sense to me. Because if you tell teenagers like, don't do this thing is like super, like don't do it. It feels super good, but you're not supposed to do it or whatever. If you phrase it that way, then teenagers are going to go out and do it. Because like at least everything that I've seen recently has been talking about how if you talk about proper sex ed, and people who have more access to contraceptives as well as better sex ed, tend to have like a lower body count than people who are like in like lower education, less sex ed, less access to contraception. So I was just wondering like your thoughts on that.
I'm telling you it's not true factually. In the 70s, before they got Planned Parenthood, went in the classroom and started funding initiatives, and they started teaching sex education. There used to not be sex education in school, and the way that they got it into the classroom in the 70s was by saying, it's better to teach them, which is what you're saying, because then they'll be more responsible. It actually, within 1 decade, it flipped. The majority of high schoolers were graduating with their virginity before there was sex education, and then when they put sex education in the classroom, the majority of them within 10 years were not graduating with their virginity. So it actually sexualized children.
Yeah. My understanding, but the reason why was because the first manifestations of sex education was abstinence only,
and it was working is what I'm saying to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was working. So abstinence, it used to be considered, and I'm not at all trying to, I'm just telling you what the facts are here. Like when people when abstinence was the cultural simulation, when everyone said you should be abstinent, you should not have sex before marriage, that idea was permeated throughout culture. It was reflected in culture. There were no sex ads. There weren't people naked on the internet, and people lived their lives. It was considered a big thing, to lose your virginity. You were actually considered someone that maybe a guy wouldn't want to marry because you lost your virginity. That was the cultural understanding, in the 50s and the 60s. And then in the 70s, you had this fourth wave of feminism that reared its ugly head and started associating sexual promiscuity to freedom, and things completely flipped. Again, I'm just giving you a historical analysis of what happened in the classroom.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Commentary. Yeah,
Hold on.
It's okay if you. Sorry, I'll just finish.
Make it quick if you can.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see where exactly you're getting that from. If later you can tell me or whatever.
Thomas Sowell, Inside the Education System, and he has
Okay.
all of the sources listed in the back of the book.
Okay, because at least in modern day, do you think that any of that has flipped or no?
No, I think we've become, there was, to use a term, I was actually talking about this yesterday on a podcast. I thought it was pretty brilliant. Paul Joseph Watson, I love his YouTube stuff, and he started talking about hoflation, which is
that's a thing.
Actually hilarious, which he's saying that men used to have to do a lot less and get a very high value woman. He's like, so think about your grandparents and your grandmother. She was a high value woman.
You gotta do a lot to get hoes.
She raised the kids. She was conservative. She was beautiful. All of these things, and now we live in this moment where everyone's kind of a hoe, and you have to work harder to get a woman that doesn't have any self-respect or any value. And I just thought it was a really interesting video. It was obviously funny, but he was saying something, and we live in hoflation now, where everybody in their own capacity is selling their bodies. And unfortunately, these are the options that men have. Now, I'm not saying it's stunning to me that women talk about what men need to be and what men need to be, but I think just kind of the complete disintegration of when I look at what my grandmother looked like in pictures. She passed in 2013, and just how classy and how beautiful and how much I wanted to be like her. And now I look at women today, and I just think, man, I feel bad for guys. The pool's getting smaller, but also it's really positive for women that are conservative and who it means that you're a part of maybe a smaller pool of individuals. I see it a lot more in the South, and that men should aspire to pursue those women absolutely to raise their families.
Go
and,
off, Candace.
Do you co-sign on the hoflation
Oh yeah,
theory?
I believe. Yeah, the women today are very low value, and so it's funny because the simulation is like men ain't shit is kind of the thing everybody's saying. Don't need a man, and it's funny that someone brought up Beyonce because she's living the exact opposite of what she's saying. She's just making money because she knows how to make money in a hoflationary environment. Smart woman. She's like, I'm just going to pretend to be a hoe, but then actually privately I'm going to be like super.
Hold on. You wanted to come in, then you please, if you can, try to keep it brief because I need to get to chat.
I was just going to say that my version of my sex education was literally them showing us a birthing photo or video. Sorry.
Yeah, in 4th grade.
That terrified me, and I was like, actually, I don't think I want to have sex for a long time. I think I'm good.
Go ahead.
And speaking of hoflation, I mean, we're always trending apparently, right? Because
Who's we?
Hoes. Because without us hoes, you wouldn't have that many views to be watching, right? You have hoes come on the podcast to talk about our.
I'm not.
Nigga, what the fuck did she just say?
Good.
Go ahead.
And speaking of hoflation, I mean, we're always trending apparently, right? Because
Who's we?
hoes. Because without us hoes, you wouldn't have that many views to be watching, right? You have hoes come on the podcast to talk about our.
I'm not knocking hoes.
I don't want to be a hoe. I don't want to be a hoe.
I'm saying you have hoes, and when I say you have hoes coming onto the podcast, you know you're a hoe.
Do you
You're
mean
a
a
hoe.
literal hoe or more of the colloquial?
That's Brian's dream.
You know what I mean?
You have hoes, Brian.
So you sit here and you want to bash sex workers, but we come
When
on
did
your
I bash?
Bash
When did I
anybody.
bash?
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody's
There's
bashed.
very
He's
little
bringing you
bashing.
on here and giving you a platform to speak. So I think that if he was going to be bashing you, he wouldn't even allow
But
anything
making
on.
us
The hero
making
of
a
hoes, if you
scene.
will.
Wait, what do you mean making what?
Making a scene
I'm not making anybody seem any
hoflation,
sort of way.
No, I'm just talking
we're
about a video.
Trending, we're a trending topic, so it's relevant to speak on.
Because it's interesting.
Wait, what?
It's
Yeah.
fascinating. I am
That's what I'm
fascinated by hoes. I'll say it. I'm absolutely fascinated by the way the hoe mind works, the way the hoe hive works. I'm fascinated.
Next
I cover it
documentary.
on my show. You
And
are
it is
correct. It is
trending. I'm
trending.
saying, and that's why
when
it's such a
Emma
hot
gets
topic
up and
to
does a
speak
video
about.
and says something like, it's chic to be divorced before you're 30. It is absolutely fascinating to see how someone's mind can be so warped. In the same way that I think it's fascinating when anybody does anything crazy or says anything crazy, and I cover it on my podcast.
Hold on, let me slow
I
this
am
down.
not knocking it at all. I just tell people what the facts are. You can choose this lifestyle, and here is where you are 99.9% likely to lead in your life, right? You are probably not destined for
Oh,
marriage.
she's
You're
earthing her.
probably not destined for a stable relationship. Men are going to not want this long term. You can say it 1,000 times. You can have 1,000 cultural examples, and women's still got to go out there and be hoes, because they're about their money and about a Cardi B song or whatever it is. So yes, I think it is fascinating, and it is why I wanted to, this is why I talk about it on my podcast and why I'm very interested to talk to you guys. And I hope you guys feel that I've been respectful in listening to, your lifestyles, even though it's so different from mine. And so I appreciate Brian for hosting.
Well, thank you for coming.
Oh my God. Oh. She just smoked a whole pack of hoes. She just lined them up. Pew, pew, pew. pew, knocked them dead, one after the other. Holy shit. So the orange young lady tried to make the comparison that we are needed or that we are important because, like, look, like, because of hoeflation, look, you guys wouldn't even have a podcast. And I guess to a degree, like, she's the hoe and then maybe Brian or the whatever podcast is the pimp. So they're utilizing the hoes in order to get content. But the fact of the matter is that we would do something else with our time. Something else with our goddamn time. But seriously, everybody right now, put down the trophy emojis down into the chat right now. Please I almost want to watch that whole exchange again. Matter of fact, that's what we're about to do right now because I actually think that she's about to leave. We need to watch that whole exchange one more time because I gotta consume it correctly.
You have hoes coming onto the podcast. You know you're a hoe.
Do you mean a literal hoe or like more of the colloquial?
That's Brian's dream.
You know what I mean?
You have hoes, Brian.
So you sit here and you want to bash sex workers, but you know we come on here.
Bash anybody. I don't think anybody has bashed.
Yeah, in fact, the only rude one here was the one in the orange shirt. So she's projecting.
Putting you on here and giving you a platform to speak. So I think that if he was going to be bashing you, he wouldn't even allow anybody on.
The hero of hoes, if you will.
Wait, what do you mean making what?
Making a scene. Like,
I'm not making anybody seem any sort of like.
No, I'm just talking about a video.
We're a trending topic, so it's relevant to speak on.
Because it's interesting.
Wait, what?
It's fascinating. I am fascinated by hoes. I'll say it. I'm absolutely fascinated by the way the hoe mind works, the way the hoe hive.
The way the hoe mind works. God damn, Candace. It's fascinating. It's interesting content. You know what else is also interesting content? Watching murder mysteries of people who died. It doesn't mean that it is a positive thing that someone died within it, but murder mysteries are actually interesting to look at. It diverts your attention because it's not the normal. It's not what works. It's what doesn't work. And to watch you conceive your very existence to be valuable on the society is pure hilarity. It's pure hilarity. But that's your life. You only got one life to live. This is what you chose to do with yours.
Works. I'm fascinated.
Next
I cover it on my show. You are correct. It is trending.
Saying, and that's why
when Emma gets up and does a video and says something like, you know, it's chic to be divorced before you're 30. It is absolutely fascinating to see how someone's mind can be so warped. You know, in the same way that I think it's fascinating when anybody does anything crazy or says anything crazy, and I cover it on my podcast. You know, I am not knocking it at all. I just tell people what the facts are. You can choose this lifestyle, and here is where you are 99.9% likely to lead in your life, right? You are probably not destined for marriage. You're probably not destined for a stable relationship. Men are going to not want this long term. You can say it 1,000 times. You can have 1,000 cultural examples, and women's still got to go out there and be hoes, you know, because they're about their money and about a Cardi B song or whatever it is. So yes, I think it is fascinating, and it is why I wanted to, you know, this is why I talk about it on my podcast, and why I'm very interested to talk to you guys. I hope you guys feel that I've been respectful in listening to, you know, your lifestyles, even though it's so different from mine. And so I appreciate Brian for hosting.
Well, thank you for coming, Candace. Let's see, I have a couple chats here, and then I have one more question. And then I think Candace will have to leave here in a moment. We have Yvonne. Oh, okay.
Modern Life Dating donated $199. Hey, Candace. Thank you for being a voice of common sense and a good representation of being a decent woman in today's modern perverse time. What are your thoughts on the passport bro movement of men leaving America for better wives abroad?
Hey, John, thank you.
Great question. Shout out to Nasheed Waters with a $10 super chat. She doesn't understand that hoes are so popular because men are having issues finding a woman. So now there are plenty of platforms. It's cause and effect. Shout out, brother. Keep going. Shout out to Chef Chopino for becoming a member on the channel. Chef, you can now use the special emojis down into the building. Put some of those hood booger emojis down up in there. I would appreciate you. All right? Let go.
Thank you very much for the TTS.
I can see why.
Maybe a brief little snippet on this, if you can.
Yes. Yeah, I think that you can find higher quality women in other places. Like, I married an Englishman. I think America.
Are you a passport? Not a bro, but like a
cis.
A passport cis.
Passport cis.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that America has really lowered the cultural standards for women more than you don't see this kind of even the way women dress in America compared to England fascinates me. And so yeah, I think find a wife, do what you gotta do, but also don't discount the South because there are so many good women in the South in America. Come to Tennessee. They're wonderful.
I have heard something kind of interesting on this is that you have a lot of men in the West, a lot of men in the U.S. going overseas to try to find perhaps a wife who's a bit more feminine, or whatever they're not finding here in the West. But you don't hear of men from other countries in droves coming to the U.S. to find a wife here.
Yes, very
you don't
true.
really hear that.
Because there's a problem.
So, all right, we have Yvonne St. Simoness. Candace, I know you're listening to these women with a realization that this country is doomed. How will you help your son navigate the swamp before you now? And if we can just try to be...
Good question.
I moved to the South as soon as I got pregnant the first time. I moved where my values aligned, and my son will be just fine.
Wow.
Perfect. We have Goodest Boy. One of them is too young to remember the movie Pretty Woman. Imagine a guy just wanting a better life for the both of you, and maybe even a family. Again, the world is effed. Hey, Goodest Boy, thank you. Yvonne. Candace, do you think Lyndon B. Johnson has anything to do with the fact that these women that have an OnlyFans are actually able to find a relationship with a man?
I don't know how we correlated Lyndon B. Johnson to
the
OnlyFans account.
LBJ?
Yeah.
What a waste of a goddamn super chat. Shout out to all of the donations that are coming through. Shout out to Aslam Haram. $5 super chat. She is spraying with the whole field with fire. She's setting everybody ablaze. Shout out to Ivan yet again. I'm going to Brazil in a few months. Hope to find that sweet wifey. Shout out, my G. Have fun in Brazil, all right? And then I think someone else gifted a membership. Did I miss that? Oh, shout out to Chef. Chef, one more time. He gifted a membership to somebody down into the chat. Shout out, my brother. I appreciate that. There you go.
Yeah, he died.
Are you familiar with anything with
OnlyFans.
LBJ?
Of course.
Okay. Yvonne St. Simoness. Candace, what specific steps will you take to ensure that your daughter does not become one of the women sitting at the panel right now?
It would just be impossible in my household.
Yeah.
We keep her away from this kind of secular living, keeping them away from tablets, not letting them be raised on Instagram and social media and TikTok, making sure that they have family values instilled in them, that they know what the cross represents, and that they're church-going children. And it's all about who you hang out with. You will become the average of the people you spend your most time with. And I appreciate the time here, but I would definitely say that, I want my kids to be in a different climate.
All right, we have the Castman 777. Marriage must be a closed and permanent relationship between two people for the purpose of raising children. Without this definition, marriage just becomes dating with a contract. Sending your husband to a sex therapist for sex is just prostitution with a loophole.
Yes.
Hey, the Castman 777. Thank you very much for your comment there. Final question here before Candace has to take off. Would any of you date a trans person?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like if I say no, I'm going to get a lot of backlash.
Well,
that's the goddamn problem.
I think my
just
personal
be
preference,
honest.
I would say no.
Okay, that's fine.
No.
No.
Hell
Well,
no.
you're married. Me personally,
no.
I would not. My question to you guys is, would any of you object to a man not wanting to date a transgender woman?
I think everybody has their own personal preferences, and if there's one thing you're allowed to be super picky on, it's who you date.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the only thing that you can 100% have free reign on. You can date who you decide.
I would completely agree with
Okay.
her. Like we talked about before, I think that everyone should have boundaries, and as long as that person's upfront and honest and they can have like an adult conversation that isn't rooted in hatred, I don't think there's anything wrong with preferring somebody that isn't trans.
Okay. I have a question. So, this has been like a thing that's gone viral on this podcast before, and it always seems to spark quite a debate. So, would you consider it to be gay for a man to date a trans woman?
Yes. Hell yes.
For a man to date, no.
Yes.
Personally.
Would you categorize him as straight?
Probably, yeah.
No.
Because, what is it? Oh, sorry.
This is
Here, Azalea.
It's the Q in LGBT queer, right? If he's dating a biologically born man, gay. Gay. If he's getting pegged, gay. Let's just put fine lines and delimiters on these things. Shout out to Sheeny Beanie with the $5 super chat. The reprobate mind is so incredulous that it attracts an audience. One must see it to believe that this level of debauchery exists. Shout out, brother. Shout out to Doc Minnick with the 10 CHF. CHF is Swiss franc. Oh, my G. Okay, awesome. I appreciate that. I've been to Switzerland. Candace is the podcast Thanos for 304s. She disintegrated the whole panel like Marvin the Martian. Shout out, my G. I appreciate that super chat.
Technical. I mean,
if you don't want to answer, that's fine. Go ahead. If you don't want to answer, that's fine. Go ahead.
I'm with Pixie. I don't think that makes them gay at all.
SE?
I have no clue.
For not to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Question. Does your answer change based on the stage of transition? Like, what if this is before any transition has occurred at all, but the person has come to the realization that they are transgender?
Gay.
Well, I would assume that you have some level of like homosexual inclination if you're a man attracted to a person who looks and represents as a man, you know? Like if you're saying pre-transition, I would say like if you're attracted to those components of that person.
But pre-transition, if you are transgender, are you a woman?
Pre-transition, you're a woman who hasn't transitioned yet, so you're presenting as a male.
What if there hasn't been any bottom surgery?
What do you mean?
Like there's still an appendage.
They still have
so you're saying they transitioned everything, but they're bottom.
Maybe they're in the process of transitioning. Let's say everything, but the.
Okay, I feel like I'm kind of confused here, so I'll just leave it in these sentences.
Seems really technical. Two people that have penises. I don't care how you feel on your inside. I don't care if you dress and you wear a dress, you wear a wig. If you come together and you have sex, you're gay.
Yes.
And I think that is homosexual.
Homosexual
right? So I know that people are trying. It is convoluted. So I understand why you're like they're trying to make it something else, and it's in your head. And well, what if you feel like a woman? It's very simple. If you are a man and you are having sex with a man, irrespective of how you feel or whether or not you've mutilated your body or you've chopped something off, it doesn't make you not a man. You're a man. And two men coming together to have sex with their appendages intact, obviously, is homosexual sex. So
yeah, I think it's different if they're presenting completely different, because at that point, like, you have men who say that they've been trapped or whatever, and I'm like, that person is straight. They literally slept with someone who was like presenting as a woman, looked like a woman. They couldn't tell. Like, I wouldn't consider that gay. But at the end of the day,
think about the stage of life we're in today, where it took nobody on the table to be able to say that. And in fact, this young lady right here with the neck/chest tattoos prefers not to stay. What does she do? Is this she's on OnlyFans. She's on 24. So she probably has trans clients that she works with. So she prefers not to say. She prefers not to F up the bag. Okay. But just think about the state of the union today when there's not a clear answer regarding something that is basic mathematics. This is 2 + 2 is 4.
Like, honestly, I don't really care about people's sexual orientation that much. I feel like this is like kind of a culture war issue. And for some people, culture war issues are important, but I'd rather talk like policy about something. I don't know if that makes me boring here, but.
Well, I'm not sure I'm totally following, but I guess, so what is a woman?
I've answered this question before on the podcast.
Here, I can start with Azalia. Did I say your name? I'm sorry.
No,
Azalia?
you never do, but it's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Well, so what is a woman?
I mean, I think that gender is a spectrum. I obviously know that you do not agree with me, and a lot of the conservative people here won't agree with me, but I guess it's just how you present and how you feel. I mean, I don't like to structure things that way and like make it so black and white. I think that people should represent themselves and be what they want to be, and it's nobody else's business, to be honest.
A female is somebody that has a vagina. That's what it says in the book, right? Okay, cool.
Which, the Bible?
The health ed book.
Oh, the health ed book.
Okay.
No, but
gender and sex are two different things. So
okay,
you answered the question correctly, so I don't want you to feel like you answered it wrong.
What is a woman?
A woman is somebody.
This is so complex. I'm scared.
It doesn't need to be.
Okay.
It doesn't.
A woman is somebody who presents or acts as the social construct of woman. And the reason why I don't say biology is because whenever we look at biology, the truth is, before coming to this room, I did not look at anybody's genitalia here. I did not look at any of your chromosomes. I just assumed you guys were women because of how you dress and act. So I think that maps on more to our reality of how we use the word woman.
Essie.
This is so controversial. I'm very like a man and a woman. Man has a penis, woman has a vagina. Biologically, man and a woman.
I agree. I think that it's like whatever biologically and anatomically what you've got going on.
I feel like what brings out my feminine qualities the most is the thought of being a mother in the future. So I guess I associate being a woman with being a mother in all aspects of that.
Okay.
I like Tara.
Your gender is decided before you're born, when you're born, and for the rest of your life.
I'm having a little boy. The doctor knows that. I know that because he's got a penis that is growing inside of my stomach right now, which is kind of tricky to think about. If I get onto this table and I start meowing like a cat, I don't suddenly become a biological cat because I present like a cat and wear a tail and say meow meow. That is probably means that I need to talk to a therapist.
Yes.
Not you. Not you.
Not you.
But yeah, it's not that difficult. It doesn't need to be convoluted. It doesn't need to be controversial. A woman, to answer your question, is an adult female.
Adult human female.
It is an adult human female, and that is the answer to something that it's just shocking to me that every person knew, every child, and then within just a couple of cultural years, everyone is so confused about
Facts.
Water being a liquid. It's very, again, I'm fascinated by it, so I love to talk to people that are confused by that. But if you were born with a vagina.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry. I'm feeling like an apple today. Okay, can you guys all put the apple emojis down into the chat? Because I now want to present as an apple. Apple emojis down into the chat, guys. Come on, chat, let's go. Please support me in the way that I feel right now, okay? I'm done being male, all right? Now I present as an apple. Support me. Or apples, green. Apples, red, down into the chat. Support me. Support me in my decision, goddammit. Apples, down into the chat right now. I am presenting because I feel like I was born from the root of a vine, of a tree. So I am now identifying as an apple. Apple emojis down into the chat. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Thank you, guys. I feel so much supported. Thank you on my journey. I'm going to talk with whoever I got to talk to get my own kind of surname, all right? Apple MTR. I'm going to go from now on. Don't refer to me as Mr., okay? Apple MTR. That's who I am from now on because I just feel like it's just true. I feel. Thank you guys for your support.
You are a female, and if you were born with a penis, you are a male. And if you had some rare thing happen, which hardly ever happens, but people will always talk about it, where you're born with both parts, you might be intersex, hermaphrodite. But generally speaking, I think we know that means that something genetically went wrong, and we are born either male or female.
Pixie, do you object to her definition?
Yeah, because I think I understand where you're coming from, but I think when it comes to day-to-day use of words, they have to map onto our reality somewhat. And the truth is, like, as I didn't check anyone's biology or chromosomes before coming here, you can say it's an act, but the truth is it's an act that everybody plays into. Everybody looks at how a person looks like and says, oh, they're a woman or male based off of that. And you can say, oh, that person is putting on a disguise that doesn't change their real gender or anything, but everybody acts that way. So to me, it's like, no, like the word that maps or the definition that maps most onto reality, onto our day-to-day usage is appearance-based.
Candace does have to take off here. Do you have a final response to her?
Yeah, if you grow an afro and wear a wig and put, a lot of black makeup on, you're not a black woman, So your appearance doesn't actually mean anything. You're not black. And the same way that I'm not white. So if we can trick someone, you might be able to trick me. I think White Rachel Dolezal did a really good job tricking people into believing that she was black for a long time by darkening her skin, getting super tan and wearing fake wigs, but she wasn't actually a black woman. So how you feel on the inside and how you present, you might be able to trick people, but that makes you a liar, not a woman. So that's what I would say in closing.
Yeah.
If you want, you could direct your further comments to me afterwards. But guys, please be sure to check out Candace Owens' documentary, Convicting a Murderer.
You guys will love it.
Tomorrow.
It's not political.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch it tomorrow. It'll be live on X.
Live on X and thedailywire.com.
She's
okay.
good.
Yeah, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, be sure to check that out, guys. Well, Candace, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you guys for having me. Honestly, I really did appreciate talking to you guys. I thought it was fascinating. I think everyone was super respectful.
Be professional.
I really appreciate it. And you, because you're so young, I'm just going to say a prayer for you because I really do believe that in there's just a different life for you, and I'm just going to say a prayer for you tonight. I just wanted to say that because I felt
for me tonight I don't know what that prayer entails.
Well, I'm going to say it anyways. Yeah, someday you might.
You're rejecting the prayer? Yes. The prayer is rejected. Okay.
I am rejecting your prayer.
The show goes on, but Candace is leaving. Guys, give me just a sec to say goodbye. Yo, guys, W's in the chat for Candace. W's in the chat for Candace. 07's in the chat for Candace. Sorry, I'll scoot over a little bit.
If I want to be a hoe, I'll be the
guys, give me just a sec.
I even love what Candace is wearing. It's just like a black shirt with a blazer. With a brown shirt with a blazer.
Just a sec to say goodbye.
Shout out to Candace.
Yo, guys, W's in the chat for Candace. W's in the chat for Candace. 07's in the chat for Candace. Sorry,
W's for chat. W's in my chat for Candace. Shout out to Tony Barrett with a $5 super chat. There is not a clear answer. There is a clear answer. People don't want to acknowledge and accept a clear answer to the question. And not only just that, but then people are scared of being ostracized for the clear answer, as was demonstrated by the woman with the chest neck tattoo on the whatever podcast. And Will J, shout out for the $20 super chat. The super chat from the gentleman on the podcast mentioned Lyndon B because he was relating the economic policies from that president to the current day, where women don't need men. Some believe it was an entire waste, though. Appreciate that clarification, Will. Appreciate the $20 super chat. Okay, so she leaves after this, and then the conversation continues. Guys, do me a favor. After this video ends, go down into the chat and let me know whether or not you want me to review the rest of this video right here. Let me also just say this at the end, is that Candace walking off and also saying she's going to pray for the young woman in the orange that tried to disrespect her during the podcast, I think continues to demonstrate the content of her character, okay? And even though the woman rejected it, I think that at the end of that, to do that says a lot about her, okay? So with that being said, guys, again, after this stream is over, go down into the comment section and let me know whether or not you want me to review the rest of this. Also, stay tuned. I'm going to drop a video right after this. You guys are going to want to see this video, okay? But shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to everybody that allowed me to cook today. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Candace Owens. Shout out to the Whatever Podcast. They got some great things going on over there. So as they continue to bring fantastic people down in there, I'm going to talk about it, all right? Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. MT Army, what up? Hopefully y'all enjoy yourselves today. I know I'm online going live at an awkward time, but hopefully you guys enjoyed your stay. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Be safe out there throughout the weekend, all right? Until next time, YouTube. Peace!